Hello everyone and welcome to Fisher Field and Newton on Smoky Hills Public Television. It's the 8-man Division II state championship game. The Baileyville B&B Falcons taking on the Wallace County Wildcats. I'm Jeremy McGuire along with Larry Jansa. Larry, it should be a good ball game. You have B&B, no stranger to this game. Wallace County, last time they were here was 07, but some pretty good head coaches and some pretty good ball players.
Absolutely correct. You got Kevin Ayers for Wallace County Wildcats. He was down to Jetmore, won several of them down there, and now he's, of course, in 207, won it here. That's done by halftime. That's when they took South Haven 48-0 at half. Then you got Justin Cope, who 3 years ago he took over Tiernan's place, but he left to go back to Osborne. And this is last year for the B&B Falcons, and this is only 13 trips to the championship game, and they've never won back-to-back. So this year they won last year. Of course, year before in 2011 they were runner-up to Thunder Ridge. Last year they got a little revenge and got Thunder Ridge in the championship game, but now they're going for the back-to-back in the last year of the B&B Falcons school. So it's going to be a heck of a game. They're the #1 scoring team in the big the 8-man deal, and Wallace County is giving up their stingy defense. So it's going to be a great game, Jeremy.
Talk about the emotions of playing your final football game for the entire history of the school.
Well, it's going to be a lot of tears shed over that, but a lot of happy tears too for what they've accomplished over the years. I mean, it's just incredible to see what these young men have done. And the Dollinghouse, he's the real deal. I mean, you know, he got hurt with that Hooter kid. Remember, Eric got hurt in about 8th game of the year, and then so he stepped in as a sophomore, and he's had 97, accounted for 97 touchdowns in his high school career so far.
That young man can throw the football. B&B likes to throw it. Wallace County is going to like to put it on the ground and take it right at you. It should be a fun one. We'll talk to both coaches later on, and we'll have a lot more from Fisher Field in Newton on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Pre-game of the 8-man Division II football championship is brought to you in part by an underwriting grant from
Ag Power Equipment Company, your local Case IH dealer with locations in Sharon Springs, Goodland, Burlington, and Holyoke, Colorado. Mike and Jason Hennick, supporting Smoky Hills Public Television and the Sharon Springs Wallace County Wildcats, located in Sharon Springs on 2nd and Main Street. Thanks for a great year, Wildcats.
Welcome back to Fisher Field in Newton. It's the 8-man Division II state championship game. The Wallace County Wildcats and the Baileyville B&B Falcons are now joined by the head coach of Wallace County, Kevin Ayers. And Coach, I tell you what, exciting times for your Wildcat team. How exciting is it to be back here in Newton?
It's a great feeling to be back. These kids are really hungry and excited to be here. It's a great day for football this time of year, so can't wait to get it started.
What's been the key for your team to get here undefeated this year?
I think consistency, that goes through practice and games. These kids have been very focused, very workmanlike throughout the year, so just a consistent ball cub, and they play with some emotion, and so that always helps.
You face a B&B team that probably puts the ball in the air more than any other 8-man team I've ever seen in my life. What kind of challenges does that create for your squad?
They're definitely a handful to prepare for. You know, we don't see this kind of offense ever. In the regular season or in the playoffs, they throw all the time, and so very difficult to prepare for. Got to shut down a lot of receivers, hopefully get a little pressure on the quarterback and get some turnovers.
So what offensively, when you guys have the ball, what do you want to make sure that you're able to do? Obviously score points, but what's it going to take to do that?
Finish drives. Our offensive line has to play exceptionally well. We got to sustain drives, keep the ball out of their hands, and then finish those drives.
Coach, good luck today, and we'll hopefully be talking about a Wallace County championship after it's all said and done.
All right, thanks, Jeremy.
That's head coach Kevin Ayers of the Wallace County Wildcats. We'll have more from Fisher Field and Newton when we return on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Pre-game of the 8-man Division II football championship is brought to you in part by an underwriting grant from
Ag Power Equipment Company, your local Case IH dealer with locations in Sharon Springs, Goodland, Burlington, and Holyoke, Colorado. Mike and Jason Hennick, supporting Smoky Hills Public Television and the Sharon Springs Wallace County Wildcats, located in Sharon Springs on 2nd and Main Street. Thanks for a great year, Wildcats.
And welcome back to Fisher Field in Newton. It's the Division II state championship game. We're now joined by the head coach of the Baileyville B&B Falcons, Justin Cope. Congratulations on another run here to the state title. You guys are kind of making a habit of this.
Well, yeah, you might say that, but you never take it for granted. It's been a special journey all year.
last year for B&B High School. Does that put extra meaning and a little bit special touch on this type of a game?
You know, we talked about it all week. It's a special time for our fans and, you know, our alumni and our community, and this is going to be a special day for them. When we talked about to our kids, we'll take a minute after today and have our banquet and then have a chance to step back and reflect on what we actually did, and having an opportunity to play for a state championship in your last year. I mean, that's like stuff that's written in Hollywood. So we're excited about that, but more importantly, we're excited about the game today.
And you guys are no strangers to big games. Your regular season is full of them with the Madisons and the Hanovers and those teams. What do you see across the field when you take on Wallace County today?
Oh boy, you talk about a team that's also battle tested. You know, they've played they've got Hoxie on their schedule, and they played Hanover as well. And you know, they've got 8 guys that I think they're all cloned together. Not only are they brothers, but I think they're all about the same, 170 pounds, can all run real fast. And I tell you what, Gefeller is one heck of a player at quarterback. And then you look at the other side of the ball, and you got Walker, and we got to find a way to stop him. He's got a motor. I mean, a motor that just won't end. So we've got to find a way to account for both those guys.
Coach, good luck today, and we'll see how things turn out for the last football game in B&B history.
You bet. It'll be fun. Thanks a lot.
That's the head coach of the B&B Falcons, Justin Cope. We'll have more from Newton when we come back. This is the 8-man Division II State Championship on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Pre-game of the 8-man Division II Football Championship is brought to you in part by an underwriting grant from
Ag Power Equipment Company, your local Case IH dealer with locations in Sharon Springs, Goodland, Burlington, and Holyoke, Colorado. Mike and Jason Hennick, supporting Smoky Hills Public Television and the Sharon Springs Wallace County Wildcats, located in Sharon Springs on 2nd and Main Street. Thanks for a great year, Wildcats.
55, Paul Dieters.
Welcome back to Fisher Field and Newton. Jeremy McGuire joined by color analyst Larry Jantz. It's the Division II State Championship game between the B&B Falcons and the Wallace County Wildcats. B&B comes in 11-1 on the year. They lost their first game of the season, 29-28 against Madison. The Wallace County Wildcats, they are 12-0, and they have played some pretty darn good football throughout the year. And Larry, they've given up only 52 points on the season, 28 of those against Hoxie, and then 6 against Hanover, 6 against Thunder Ridge, 6 against Dayton, 6 against Beloit St. John's. They have 4 shutouts. One heck of a football team.
Yeah, and remember that the game on which normally is supposed to have been played on Halloween was forfeited because of injuries and illnesses to Wheeling Grinnell. So really they played 11 games, but it counts as 12 on their schedule because they had to forfeit because of injuries and stuff. But give Kevin Ayers he just does an incredible job. Of course, you know, he used to be at Jetmore and won some couple of state championships down there. And of course, the last time here for Wallace County was 207, and they won it by halftime, 48-0 over South Haven. So here he is. He's got it back in here again in the championship game, and they've never lost. If they make it to the championship game anytime, they've always won.
This is the 13th trip to the state title game for the B&B Falcons. There's 6 consecutive. So these kids have been around state title games since they were old enough to know what football was.
They were junior high. And some of these seniors.
How important does that experience play into today's game? They're used to the atmosphere, they're used to the preparation, they're used to the hotel rooms, they're used to some of the fanfare that comes before the game that normally doesn't happen. Does that give B&B an advantage coming into today's game?
Well, I think it certainly does because of the tradition, just like you take Dieters. We got 3 Dieters, 4 Dieters, 5 Dieters. There's always 5 or 6 Dieters on the roster. Rottinghouse, the quarterback, number 16, 8th game of the year when he was a sophomore. Why Eric Hooter gets hurt, the quarterback at the time. He steps in there in the last 4 games of that year, and then of course all last year when they won the 12-0 last year and they beat Thunder Ridge for a little revenge from the 2-11 game, and now all of a sudden. You take the last 2.5 years of him being quarterback, he has 97 total touchdowns. I mean, that kid's been there too, just like you said, the legacy and this Falcon football team at Baileyville, Beatty and Baileyville, is incredible what they've done. And of course, Steve Tiernan got that all started, and then Justin Cope has just come in here and just took off. Where in the heck, you know, Tiernan left off, he just kept the ball rolling.
You look at this B&B team again offensively, typically an 8-man, and I say typically, you see a lot more running than passing, or maybe an even spread. this B&B team, they love to air the football out. Rottinghouse alone has thrown for 2,262 yards, 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So they're not your typical team. So how does that preparation come in for Wallace County defensively, saying, you know what, these guys are going to pass the football?
It makes it super tough for Kevin Ayers and his team. They have to be incredibly disciplined and do a lot of film watching and study to make sure they are sound because Baileyville's had 618 points, like you mentioned, 85 total touchdowns. 32 has come from rushing and 46 by passing by the air. So they made more touchdowns by passing the ball, and they'll run the ball. I mean, they'll pass the ball about 85% of the time today, I think. Or that's what I predict it might be. That's what the history's been. So it's going to be opposites. Here you got stingy defense by 52 points all that the Wallace County Wildcats given up all year. And here's the other one, 618, the most points ever scored by a Division I team this year. So you got the highest scoring team versus the one that's given the most up the least as far as on defense. And now, who prevails? Defense, the old coaches used to say cliche, defense wins championships. Well, if that's true today, then you'd say, hey, Wallace County Wildcats got the upper edge. However, they got to be in the right position because they're going to throw 5 different offensive sets at you, the Falcons will. And they're going to be split receivers, going to be flats, going to be screens, bubble screens, you name it. The Donninghouse is incredible. He'll throw it. He's the real deal. And he'll throw bullet passes at you.
What are the keys defensively for Wallace County today?
Well, defensively, they've got to play tight, aggressive coverage, and they got to pressure that quarterback, Donninghouse, and they got to tackle in the open field. That's what they have to do, Rottinghouse on. And so they've just got to bottle him up a little bit because Dustin has just done an incredible year. 6'2", 175-pound senior. He's done it sophomore, junior, senior year. But you're going to see the defense mostly for the Wallace County. It start off with a 3-4 defense. That's what they generally run. And then just different options, depending on where you split them out, wide receivers, twins to the left or right or whatever, and he'll adjust it because Kevin Ayers is a smart coach.
What's B&B going to need to do offensively to counteract some of the aggressiveness out of Wallace County?
Well, they have to. The coach told me, he said we got to control the line of scrimmage, and we got to use our motion and their formations, the 5 different formations that we mentioned, because they run a twin split set and a balance split to one side. They're going to run a twin split motion with traps, zone, read type game, pro set, and also they call it trips one way, and that's kind of the old Texas Tech football deal. And they'll do a lot of shovel passes, rollout passing. They'll do some ISO passing one-on-one to certain people too. So you're going to get a mixed ball of wax, kind of like a Heinz 57 variety of thrown at you by the Falcon football team.
Okay, let's flip the script and switch it to the other side. Defensively, what's B&B going to need to do against a really good Wallace County offense?
Well, Coach Cope, he's really impressed with Kyle Gefeller. And, of course, his dad is Dennis Gefeller, the assistant coach for Kevin Ayers. And Kyle Coach Cope says must stop Gefeller with his feet and his arm because he's a threat both ways, not only just with his arm but also the feet. And then Walker, got to stop Walker, and then, of course, make our reads and adjust to the multiple formations.
Well, we're going to have football here pretty soon. It's the B&B Falcons and the Wallace County Wildcats. We'll be back with your kickoff right around the corner on Smoky Hills Public Television.
The presentation of the 8-man Division II State Football Championship is brought to you in part by
Shelter Insurance of Seneca. Agent Doug Hyman has been serving the surrounding area since 1979. Proud supporter of the B&B Falcons.
American Lodge and Suites in Heston, offering a welcoming lobby with fireplace, 42 rooms including jacuzzi suites, indoor pool and spa, continental breakfast, and meeting room. American Lodge and Suites in Heston. Welcome to the end of the day.
Baileyville State Bank of Seneca. Proud supporters of the Baileyville B&B Falcon Athletics, wishing the football team best of luck at state. Nemaha Central USD 115. The Board of Education and Community support the B&B Falcon football team at state.
From Rural Telephone and Nextech, providing the region with telephone, internet, cable television, and wireless phone solutions, Rural Telephone and Nextech proudly support public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
the First National Bank of Centralia, Corning, Seneca, and Vermilion. Nemaha County Co-op, serving 9 locations in northeast Kansas. Midwest Ag Service, LLC, Seneca.
Back at Fisher Field at Newton, getting ready for the coin toss. Stu Chance down there getting the fellas ready. You see Kyle Gefeller down there for the Wallace County Wildcats. Caden Daly is there. On the other side, you see Clay Shim as well. And the toss, the coin toss, Wallace County wins the toss. They have deferred, and so B&B will receive the opening kickoff. So I guess we'll get to see that number 1 offense against the number 1 defense right away, Larry Jantz.
Absolutely, and that's the way it ought to be. That was captains, of course, Dustin Rottinghouse, and then, of course, Cameron Haug, number 45, 6'3", 205-pound senior. He plays one end, and he's caught, he's had 836 yards this year and had 13 touchdowns. And the other end, Blake Dieters, he's had 20 touchdowns this year, over 1,000 yards. So Dustin, he throws to those ends. Of course, he also throws to his running backs. He'll put the ball in the air and throw it any place, anywhere, to those dark blue jerseys today.
The dark blue jerseys with the white numerals trimmed in light blue. Wallace County with the home white uniforms with the dark blue numerals trimmed in black, the dark blue pants. Back deep for B&B is going to be Dylan Steinlage and Brendan Bergman. Kyle Gefeller will put the ball on the tee for Wallace County. It's a pretty nice day here in Newton. The temperatures have warmed up just a little bit with the sun coming out. They have reset the clock to 12 minutes. We're set and ready to go. Tell you what, for you history buffs, tell you what, not very many people get the opportunity to witness the final game of a program, and we get a chance to witness it with the B&B Falcons, and then a coming out party of such for Wallace County, a team that hasn't been here since 2007. This group wants to leave a legacy as well. And
Kyle Gefeller's had 53 touchbacks out of his 73 kickoffs this year, and averages 47. So let's see what he does.
Ball is in the air. He's going to get another touchback. That is about 3 yards deep in the end zone. As Steinlage comes up with it, it's going to be 1st and 10 B&B. They'll have the ball at their own 15-yard line. So sit back, relax, and get ready to have some fun. But with this B&B team on offense, hang on, because they are going to try and fly down the field.
And that's the 54th touchback for Kyle Gefeller this year then, Jeremy.
Derek Muting is the center. Cole Dieters, Peyton Dieters the guards. The ends, Blake Dieters and Cameron Haug. Dustin Rottinghouse the quarterback. Neil Sudbeck, Brendan Bergman. Rottinghouse to throw. Goes intended for Bergman, incomplete, 2nd down.
He kind of split his running back out there and had him slotted behind that wide receiver to the right. Kind of like I did a down and out pass, and he's just outside. He kind of threw a tight spiral, too tight, and Brendan couldn't get to it. So it was incomplete, 2nd and 10.
They will get back up to the line of scrimmage. Dieters split to the near side. In motion from the far side is Dylan Schmitz. Rottinghouse is going to keep it. He lowers his shoulder. He's going to be out across the 20, up near the 24-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 1. So Rottinghouse using his legs. He ran for 380 yards coming into today's game. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 1.
And they, of course, had Donovan Schmitz in there, number 8. He was split to the right side, went in motion, and kind of gave him a trap play up the gut. And then, of course, Dustin just followed in there and made his 9-yard gain on that one, Jeremy.
They will go with Neil Sudbeck to the left of Rottinghouse, 2 receivers to the top side. 3rd and 1. It's going to be an option left. They get it out to Sudbeck. He has some room to the near side, but there's a flag coming in. So that baby is going to go right back from where it came from. Going to have a hold on the edge, I believe.
That was a quick pitch though with Sudbeck, and by God, that was going to work if there wasn't this hold.
And that's a big penalty in the early going. Move that from the spot of the foul, so that'll mark it back to the 15, 16-yard line. Looks like they're going to say it is from they mark it from the spot of the foul, so from the 26, they'll mark it back
holding
to the 16-yard line.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
9.
Repeat, 3rd down.
Now this B&B team is set up to make it on 3rd and 9, the way they throw the football, but you know Justin Cope would much rather prefer 3rd down and 1.
Well, yeah, but throw that out the door. Now we got about 3rd down and 9. And he's got wide receivers, twins left and right.
See if B&B gets any pressure put on him here. Rottinghouse to throw a quick slant. That looks like pass interference, and it's going to be. That's a good call coming from the far side. Callahan Grund is going to be whistled for it. Saw the receiver get hit in the back before the ball ever arrived, and so pass interference is going to be a first down for B&B. Now this year's the first year they instituted a new ruling system on penalties.
On the defense,
if the yardage didn't allow
15-yard
for
penalty
it to
from
be
the
a
previous spot, first down.
It wouldn't be a first down. So let's say that was 3rd down and 20. It was a 15-yard pass interference. It'd be 3rd down and 5, but that was enough to give them the first down. So back-to-back penalties, first against B&B and then against Wallace County. First down and 10 Falcons at the 31. Right in front of us here at Fisher Field. Whoa, that snap is beyond Rottinghouse. Who's going to win the battle to the football? That is going to be Wallace County football at the 5-yard line. Boy, that snap just went zipping by Rottinghouse. Covering the football was Caden Daly. Boy, he was like a rocket going after that football, and the huge break, the first one of the ball game in favor of the Wildcats.
Yeah, and it's back there kind of in the pistol formation. Neil Studbeck was back there with old Dustin Rottinghouse, and looked like the ball went right between both of them, Jeremy.
Well, you got to switch things over to the Wallace County offense. Dalton Walker, Tyrell Springsteel, Clay Shim, Callahan Grund, Caden Daly, Luke Shim, and Nate Kling. Kling goes left side, and he is stacked up at the line. He's going to lose a yard. There is a host of B&B Falcons. Rottinghouse in there, Derek Muting. Also coming out of there was Blake Sism. 2nd down and goal from the 6.
It's a great turnover now. Wallace County needs to put the ball in the end zone here to capitalize on this momentum they've got.
2nd down and goal from the 6. Gefeller gets up underneath the center, Dalton Walker. It's going to be Gefeller using his feet. He's down inside the 5, gets all the way down to the 2. It's 3rd down and goal from the 2, a pickup of 4.
And that's just a great job. They had that fake, and they just followed that runner back in there just like a quarterback keeper off that fake.
3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. They love Kyle Gefeller. They love to run it, pass it, whatever they can do. They will spread B&B out. Looks like they're trying to get some type of advantage. Gefeller left. He's not going to get there. Very, very close, but he got stood up at the line. Sism come in to help finish it off. Rottinghouse in there as well. A gain of 1.
Great job by Blake Sism to kind of smell that out. 6'1", 165-pound senior. He's had 46 tackles for the year. And now we got pressure time for the Wildcats.
Ethan Schmidt's in there at nose tackle for B&B. 4th down and goal. The ball resting just inside the 1-yard line. Gefeller, he's going to go left. He's in for the touchdown. No signal yet from the officials, but Kyle Gefeller slips in from 1 yard out, and the Wallace County Wildcats strike first with 9:13 to go in the first quarter. It is 6-0 Wallace County.
If there's ever going to make that 1 yard, he's going to go right behind that center, the 215-pound senior Dalton Walker, who's been a load. He's tough, and don't forget, they've won the last 3 years in a row. They won the weightlifting championship, Wallace County has. So he's a big bull in there running center. That Kyle just run right behind him.
Here comes the 2-point conversion. Sometimes these can make the difference in a game. Looked like we had a false start. That's going to be whistled against Luke Shim. Started a little bit early, the sophomore who's lined up at a right flanker position.
He was a little eager that time there, Luke did.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the try.
Luke's had 9 touchdowns this year, though, Jeremy, at 53 carries for almost 500 yards. So he's had a real good job as a sophomore for these Wallace County Wildcats.
So Gefeller is going to kick this one. So Gefeller will line up to kick it. Daly will hold. The snap is good. The kick is on the way, and the kick is right through there. 9:13 to go in the first quarter. Wallace County on top 7-0, taking advantage of a big turnover, Larry.
And don't forget this here too. You don't see very many field goals or extra points kicked in 8-man football, but Wallace County's had 3 field goals kicked this year, 35, 32, and 38 yards during the year. So he just showed another talent that this cat has, kicking the football.
And that could be a big advantage if it comes down to crunch time, understanding that you have the ability to kick it, whether it be an extra point or a field goal.
Absolutely. Does a great job, and of course he's also the punter. And but we're going to get to see his kickoff return or kickoff here pretty soon. It's going to be 73 kickoffs he's had prior to this today. This is going to be the second one today, and he's had 54 of them going for touchback. So look for this one here with the momentum, probably get back in a touchback again. But we're going to see here. So they're lined up here for 2 of them back for Baileyville.
There's the kick. It's going to bounce, and it's going to go into the end zone in a touchback.
And the kick, the game goes into the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah. Dylan Steinlogge just said, nope, going to let it bounce over my head, go in there for a touchback, and we'll take the ball out here on the 15-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Baileyville B&B Falcons.
So 1st down and 10 from the 15-yard line. And there's a whistle. The official's timeout. I think everything's good and ready to go. And I go right side with the football. I'll tell you what, Wallace County right there.
Looked like there might have been a fumble the way everybody's rushing to the ball, but maybe not.
A pickup of 1 on the play for Neil Sudbeck. 2nd down and 9. Well, not the start that Justin Cope and the B&B Falcons were hoping for.
This is kind of put a little shock treatment in their game plan right now.
2nd down and 9. Rottinghouse to throw it under a little pressure, throws it up the field, has a man, it's caught and nearly fumbled. Are they going to say complete? They're going to say he caught it and lost the ball on the move. That's going to be a pickup of 15 yards and a 1st down.
That's kind of unusual there. It's pretty close almost whether he's going to have an incomplete pass or not, but he did catch it, probably made a couple steps, and they kind of corralled him, and then he's juggling the ball. But anyway, regardless, it's 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line.
1st down and 10. In motion to the near side is Dylan Schmitz. They throw it up the seam. The ball is caught. A 1st down and then some. Still going. Look out. It could be 6. It is. Blake Dieters on the receiving end. There's a flag on the play.
It'll be a face mask on Kyle Gefeller, I believe.
That's a 50-yard touchdown pass. Wait for the official word on the penalty before you can exactly count it good, but we'll see what the call is. It's a personal foul, face mask against Wallace County. Blake Dieters was wide open in the seam. Larry Jantz made a nice move and scored.
Yeah, and then, of course, they tried to put a move on there, and, of course, Kyle Gefeller.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. Results of the play is a touchdown. That penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Thank you, Mr. Stu Chance. The head referee wearing a white hat today.
So now B&B will go for the 2-point conversion. Well, it took 1 minute and 8 seconds for the Falcons to answer. Rottinghouse to throw it. He's rolling to his right. He's going to go for the 2-point conversion in the corner. He didn't get there.
He didn't make the pylon.
Got knocked out just short of the 2-point conversion. With 8:05 to go in the first quarter. Boy, I hope you're holding on tight. This is going to be a beauty. Look at this throw, the catch, and the move. And Dieters just broke away and all the way for 6. So 7-6 is the score, and you saw how quickly B&B can answer.
And unfortunately, that's what Kyle was trying to get the tag mirror on that truck, number 31, that went by him like that.
Now, if you are B&B, do you look at the potential of an onside kick here because of the 15 yards that was tacked on to the end of the after the.
Well, you got to lose.
You don't have anything to lose.
No, you know you're going to probably kick the ball into the. It'll be a touchback, probably, huh?
I mean,
kickoffs. Cameron. How he's done a kickoff. He had 70 kickoffs, only 19 of them in the touchback, as long as 55 yards. So you could be right on this one, Jeremy.
I mean, they don't really have you really don't have anything to lose. Other maybe a few yards. I mean, if you kick this through the end zone, it's going to be Wallace County will get it at the 15. If you onside kick it and they recover at 10 yards, they get it at the 25. Well, the decision comes right now. Cameron Haug will address it. Here they go, and it's going to be a kick. It's going to be taken by Grund at the 2. Comes up the field looking for a gap, still on his feet, winds up across the 15 to the 16, where he's taken down by Haug. It'll be 1st and 10 Wallace County at the 16-yard line. So the Wildcats with the 1-point lead and the football. Great to have everybody along on Smoky Hills Public Television. Ethan Schmitz will go in at the nose tackle. Sism on one side, Haug on the other. Cole Dieters, Derek Muting at the linebacker positions. Rottinghouse at a corner, where they got them all over the place. There's a little counter play. Luke Shim on the carry. He is hit and buried.
Kind of like a little trap play up the gut.
Rottinghouse on the tackle, pickup of a couple on the play.
Wallace County likes to run a lot of option and a little gun read. They do a lot of traps, and that's what we saw there. And of course, little play action passes.
They want to control the line of scrimmage, time of possession, win the battle in the trenches, and not turn the football over. There's a throw under some pressure. Gefeller, it's up there and knocked away. That pass intended for Caden Daly. He turned into a defender as Schmitz went up to try and intercept that football. Dylan, a 6'3", 180-pound senior, couldn't wrestle it in, and it's going to bring up 3rd down.
There was a lot of pressure on Kyle Gefeller, the quarterback for Wallace County then, and kind of instead of a nice spiral pass, kind of a fluttering duck. And so the old end receiver, Caden Daly, ended up kind of being a defensive guy just to keep from getting intercepted.
3rd down and 7. Gefeller's going to throw it again. Has a man open. It is incomplete. Boy, a heck of an effort over there on the far side. Callahan Grund had it, but when he hit the ground, the ball popped loose.
Yeah.
An incomplete pass, and it will bring up 4th down in a punting situation. So Wallace County, we expected them to run it a little bit more, come out with a couple passes, but you have to have the element of surprise at this level.
Yeah, there's only about 33 passes to the ends all year long by Kyle Gefeller. So here we go, 4th down and 10. And of course, Kyle's back to punt.
And the punt is away, and it's a high one, fluttering. Lands just inside the 30, takes a bounce, and will take Wallace County's favor inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 19-yard line. So B&B down by 1, takes over 1st and 10 at their own 19 with 7:05 to go in the first quarter.
And that Wallace County, this is the first punt, of course, this game, but they've only punted 14 times all year. And there's 14, the longest has been 50-yard punt. The average is 27 yards is what Kyle's had, and today you saw him there kick the ball out on the 19-yard line. The ball rolled out of bounds.
1st down and 10 from the 19-yard line. Rottinghouse calls out some signals to the outside, and we're going to have a flag. And it's going to be a false start called against B&B. So a little rough in the early going, penalty-wise. B&B 2 penalties, 15 yards. Wallace County 3 penalties for 35.
I think they might have called the right formation. They come up and see a defensive look that they're not accustomed to, and then they almost started to shift, and a lot of pressure put on the kids because they run multiple offenses, Baileyville does.
Man in motion. And Rottinghouse will keep it. He's going to be hit and dropped. Great job from the defensive end position by Tyrell Springsteel. He forced Rottinghouse back up inside, and Dalton Walker was right there to help make the tackle. A 1-yard gain on the play, 2nd and 14.
Both of them guys had about 50 tackles all year long. Dalton Walker had 45 tackles and 1 fumble recovery. Same thing, Tyrell spring steal, had 48 tackles and 1 fumble recovery. And great job by the Wallace County Wildcats.
Well, Wallace County playing that stingy defense you thought they would, Larry. 2nd down and 14. Rottinghouse rolls to his right. Steps up, throws, has a man complete to Haug across the 25, up to the 27-yard line. Pickup of 11 will bring up 3rd down and 3.
And that's one of the deals they had, because they had a good rush on there. You see they stacked linebacker Kyle Gaffello was right behind the nose guard, and he kind of blitzed in there. And because of Dustin rolling out to his right, it bought some extra time. And just before he got hit, well, they found Haug down for a good pass reception.
3rd and 3. Rottinghouse to throw. This time he rolls to his left, steps up, has a man complete. 1st down. Blake Dieters across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Picked up 5 yards and a 1st down.
Coming into this game, Blake Dieters had 54 receptions for 1,033 yards. He averages 21 yards per catch.
Oh, he ripped off 51 or 50 on his last reception.
Absolutely. We know what happened on that one. Falcons touchdown.
1st down and 10. Dieters in motion. They're going to pitch it outside to Sudbeck. Cuts it up inside, and he got blasted at the line of scrimmage. Dalton Walker in there. Tyrell Springsteel coming down the line for Wallace County, helped make the tackle. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
Kind of helped in a little bit by Nate Kling, also 165-pound junior, 52 tackles, 1 interception for the year. Luke Shim is kind of their #1 tackler, also a linebacker, #4, 77 tackles for the year and 1 fumble recovery for the Wildcats.
4:53 to go, 1st quarter, 7-6. Wallace County on top by a point. Rottinghouse to throw it. He steps up, throws it down the field. Dieters is out there. That's going to be incomplete. And Caden Daly on the coverage, the B&B fan section wanting to pass interference. No call. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, it looked like there might be a little pushing, a little shoving going on there. Something.
There it is right there. Yeah, Dieters didn't have a chance to come back and make a play on it, but Caden Daly was in position to make the play.
That's probably a good no call, huh?
3rd down and 9, and he had his head turned. It's a big emphasis, at least in the NFL. Back to pass over the middle. That baby's caught. What a shoestring grab by Cameron Haug at the 36. My goodness, how did he come up with that thing? That's a pickup of 11 and a 1st down.
It's kind of like a vacuum cleaner hands, didn't he? He just sucked that right up.
My goodness, that was an impressive catch. B&B quickly to the line of scrimmage, ready to snap again. Rottinghouse all by his lonesome in the shotgun formation. The throw again looks like a pass to the sideline, and Dieters again was the intended receiver, incomplete.
Pass intended for Blake Dieters was incomplete.
B&B hurrying things up a little bit on that play, Larry, trying to catch Wallace County off guard.
Well, they tried to. Of course, they're trying to hope that there wasn't going to be no replay, you know, like you might have in pro in the upper levels of this game, and there wasn't, of course. But they're just speeding up the play. They just like the up-tempo game, always have.
2nd down and 10.
So you got unbalanced left, see? You got to the right.
Schmidt's in motion. Rottinghouse is going to keep it up the middle, got spun around. In on the tackle, Luke Shim leading the way for Wallace County. A pickup of 3 yards, 3rd down and 7.
Well, Wallace County will be trying to key on the fullback, whether it be Sudbeck or Bergman back there. They're back there with Rottinghouse. And that's what they'll end up keying on, because they're generally going to lead you to the ball.
Here's 3rd down and 7. Rottinghouse again. Fakes the handoff, looks to throw over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Cameron Haug.
Yeah.
He had it. The ball was delivered, incomplete. It's 4th down.
I think the ball got there just a little hair before he thought it was. His hands wasn't quite ready for it. But if his hands were ready, I think he would have caught it. It was a good defense by number 27 over there for the Wildcats. Old Callahan Grun did a good job.
Well, looks like B&B
4th and 8.
gonna go for it, or you could also have Rottinghouse take a quick step and punt it. He's gonna throw it, looking, throws it, it's complete. It's just gonna depend on where they say he had the catch at. The way it looks here, that looks like a first down.
Well,
it's gonna be close, maybe a hair short. They're gonna have to bring the chains out to measure it.
Stu don't know. Look at him. He's scratching his head. Timeout. He's gonna measure.
Timeout. You have to measure this.
It's too
and
close.
See what it is. I think he has it by the nose of the football.
I think he's short.
He's short. They needed 7. They got 6. So B&B turns it over on downs. And Wallace County has it back. A chance to extend their 1-point lead. With 3:38 to go in the first quarter.
Could be a critical play in this here game, in the first half at least.
So back on offense, the Wallace County Wildcats. Gefeller gonna hand it off. Kling is drilled in the backfield. Nothing going. Haug in there. Rottinghouse in there. Muting in there. That's going to be a loss of a yard on the play, 2nd and 11.
Rottinghouse plays a little outside linebacker, and he's had 40 tackles, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery this year. Now Kyle's up underneath the center of that tough old Dalton Walker.
2nd down and 11. It's going to be Gefeller keeping it. He got hit by Haug, sprung forward, got up to the 30-yard line before Rottinghouse finished him off. And mark it just short of the 30.
Quarterback.
Pick up a 4, 3rd and 7.
Kind of a quarterback delay that time there. Quarterback keeper just give the time for the blocks to get their trap and get him set up, try to move him back, and didn't fool any of the Falcons.
3rd and 7, the ball at the 29. Fisher Field in Newton Athletic Park. This is a really cool facility. Back to pass. It's going to be an option to the left. Coming towards the Kling. He's close to the first down. And judging by the mark, it looks like he is short by about the length of a football, if that. Stu Chance will look it over. He's like, we're going to have another measurement, gentlemen. And he's going to call for the clock to stop, and the chain gang is going to get some more action. Just right here in front of us. And they get the chain gang set, and here they come. Boy, I would have a perfect view of the football if Stu would move.
Why don't you just radio him down, kind of text him or something and let him move. He'll get out of your way.
Well,
he didn't.
Here they go to measure it. There you go, Michael Quaid with a nice look. That's going to be a first down. So Kling picks up 7, and it's a first down.
And they needed 7.
The first down of the ball game by Wallace County.
The game of inches, they say?
Every time.
One time is just a few inches short. Hey, now they've just got it by a few inches.
First and 10 Wildcats. Gefeller to throw, under pressure, he's dropped. Boy, the ends come crashing down. Haug in there, but Sism makes the tackle, a loss of 3 on the play, 2nd down and 13.
Great job by the Falcon defense. Both ends did their job. They turned all the plays inside. Of course, defensive keys for the Falcons again is Coach Kaup said, hey, must stop Gefeller. And they got to disrupt this Dalton Walker with different nose guard moves, various speeds, blitzes, and make her reads and adjust to the multiple formations.
2nd down, 13. It's going to be a draw play. Ball's on the ground. B&B has it. Derek Muting on the football. Kling never had the ball in his arms. Lost it after he got hit a little bit. It's 1st down and 10. And a fumble on Wallace County.
Yeah, Nate Kling just never did get it. The exchange between Kyle Gefeller and him just didn't take place. Put that ball on the carpet, and then anything can happen, and now it's Falcons' ball. 1st and 10 on the Wildcats, about 32.5-yard line.
So B&B, who went out on downs their last time, back on the Wallace County side of the football field following the Wildcat turnover. Rottinghouse rolls to his right, steps up, has a man, it's caught. Bergman, 1st down at the 19, they'll mark it at the 18. A pickup of 15 yards and a 1st down.
And Brendan Bergman, 5'8", 165-pound senior, has got great hands. He's caught 20 passes this year for 267 yards and 5 touchdowns. And so he's used a running back. They split him out there and make a receiver out of him.
1:34 to go, 1st quarter. 7-6 Wallace County. They scored first after a B&B touchdown, or B&B turnover. Went 6 yards for the score. There's a little bubble screen. Dieters makes a catch. Tries to break it to the outside. Kling is there. We're going to have a flag on the play.
That could be any number of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of action around there. Looks like it's going to be against B&B. That's going to be a hold called against the Falcons.
And I think it was number 7 downfield in front of Blake Dieters that actually held one of the guys on the defensive backs, and that's what they saw.
So they will mark him backwards 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Got blocking it back on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the end of the catch. Repeat, 1st down.
So now we got a 1st and almost 20. Not quite.
Looks like about 1st down and 18 from the 27. They need the 9 for a 1st down. Schmidt's in motion to pass. Rottinghouse looks up, throws it down the middle. It is tipped and incomplete. Good coverage by Luke Shim. That pass intended for Cameron Haug was incomplete. 2nd down and 18.
Yeah, it's a great job. Great defensive deal because they both went up for the ball. Of course, all the Falcons wanted pass interception or pass interference, and the Wallace County Wildcats said, there ain't no damage. So 2nd down and 18 yet.
Ball at the 27-yard line. Rottinghouse to throw, under some pressure, pump fake, looking for his man, incomplete, intended for Dylan Steinlogge. It's 3rd down and 17.
Had to be perfect to get it in there. He was open, but it had to be a perfect pass over the outstretched deal of the defense for that to come in there. And like you mentioned, this fell incomplete. 3rd and still 18.
B&B has thrown for 113 yards in the 1st quarter, yet they still trail by 1. Rottinghouse to throw. They throw a screen on the backside. Dieters is going to be hit. He lost the football. There's a flag on the play. Muting got on the football, so there's no turnover, and it looks like that's going to be a penalty against B&B. It's either going to be 4th down and 19, or they'll replay 3rd down.
Back, blocking it back on the offense. Penalties declined. It's 4th down.
So a loss of a yard on the play. It's 3rd down and 8, or 4th down and 18.
Block in the back at that time, and of course Wallace County said, we don't want to give the way they pass the ball. Let's don't give them another opportunity. Let's make a 4th down and 17 to go.
It's like B&B's going to go for it. Unless Rottinghouse again takes a step back and punts it away. He's going to throw it, rolls, throws to the backside. Dieters is open, incomplete. He had it, but knocked away at the last moment by Caden Daly in the 2nd consecutive possession, where B&B turns it over on downs. It's 1st and 10, Wallace County.
Yeah, it was great defense. I mean, there had to be a perfect pass to get that ball in there. And Dustin does a great job.
You know, the crazy thing is it was open.
Yeah, it was.
He just underthrew it a little bit.
To Wallace County.
Good coverage thus far, though, for Sharon Springs, Wallace County.
Oh, he fumbled the ball.
There's another one on the ground, and Muting's on it again. Boy, another fumble by Wallace County, and B&B takes over. And Derek Muting recovers both fumbles.
And that's one of those things that Kevin Ayers said, offensive keys to victory. You got to control the time of possession. We got to win the battle in the trenches, and no turnovers. Well, we've had 2 turnovers already, and we're still in the first quarter barely.
Those hurt. 35 seconds left to go in the first quarter. B&B's going to run a little counter play, and nothing going that time for Brendan Bergman. He's going to be knocked backwards. He's going to lose 3 yards on the play. It's 2nd and 13.
That was a great job in there by the host of the Wallace County Wildcats that time, stopping old Brandon Bergman for no gain, or like you said, lost 2 or 3 yards.
And that's going to be the final play of the first quarter. Justin Cope says, hey, let's let this clock run down. Let's regroup and talk about what we need to do. B&B in a tight one as the first quarter clock winds down from Newton, Fisher Field and Newton. Wallace County 7, B&B 6. We'll be back with your second quarter right after this timeout on Smoky Hills Public Television.
The presentation of the 8-man Division II State Football Championship is brought to you in part by American Lodge and Suites in Heston, offering a welcoming lobby with fireplace, 42 rooms including jacuzzi suites, indoor pool and spa, continental breakfast, and meeting room. American Lodge and Suites in Heston. Welcome to the end of the day.
Nemaha Central USD 115. The Board of Education and Community support the B&B Falcon football team at state. Shelter Insurance of Seneca. Agent Doug Hyman has been serving the surrounding area since 1979. Proud supporter of the B&B Falcons.
From Rural Telephone and Nextech, providing the region with telephone, internet, cable television, and wireless phone solutions, Rural Telephone and Nextech proudly support public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
Baileyville State Bank of Seneca, proud supporters of the Baileyville B&B Falcon Athletics, wishing the football team best of luck at state.
The First National Bank of Centralia, Corning, Seneca, and Vermilion. Nemaha County Co-op serving 9 locations in northeast Kansas. Midwest Ag Service, LLC, Seneca.
Well, the B&B Falcons back out as they face a 2nd down and 13. The ball thrown 23-yard line. Jeremy McGuire along with color analyst Larry Jansen. Larry, this Wallace County defense is as good as advertised.
Yeah, they've been stingy, like we mentioned before in the pregame. 52 points let score all year long. So, but I tell you what, look for that Blake Dieters 31 to catch in there. He's been the biggest surprise for the Falcons, the coach said all year long.
Single coverage on the outside. Rottinghouse to throw it. He's looking that way. Dieters on an out pattern. He makes the catch, slips a tackle, does a little bit of a stumble run, and picks up 14 yards and a first down.
He's been a wide receiver. He's Coach Cope says that Blake Dieters, they knew he had average hands, but his routes and the catching ability has really been great and really improved as the year went on.
And he was a shoestring away from breaking that one.
Yes, he was.
Rottinghouse has some pressure. He got hit hard as he threw it, and that pass is incomplete. Intended for Bergman in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah,
Luke Shim, Clay Shim with the pressure.
Yeah, Luke was one putting the real pressure on it. Kind of, as a linebacker, he kind of blitzed and shot the gap. Putting a little different, mixing up a little defensive strategies on there out of their old 3-4 defense that they normally have.
Second down and goal from the 9. B&B trails by a point. Wallace County lines up defensively. They're going to try and put some more pressure. The pass is caught by Bergman. Slips a tackle. He is into the end zone for the touchdown. And the B&B Falcons are back on top. A 9-yard strike from Dustin Rottinghouse to Brendan Bergman with 11:10 to go in the first half. It is B&B on top, 12-7.
Well, they keep trying to put the heat on the quarterback on Dustin. Every time they're going to throw the ball, stick in the pocket, they're going to have somebody trying to hit him and try to make him pay for every time he hangs on to the ball.
Going for the 2-point conversion. Rottinghouse rolling, looking. He's in trouble. Sudbeck was open for a moment, but the pressure from Wallace County does not allow Rottinghouse to get the football away. But with 11:10 to go in the first half, B&B back on top. The Falcons strike. Brendan Bergman slips the tackle into the end zone just in front of us. And it is 12-7, so a nice answer by the Falcon offense.
Absolutely, and of course the 2-point extra point went on there because Tyrell Springsteel and then Nate Kling, the linebacker defensive end, they got over Dustin that way for a loss and failed to get the 2-point extra point. It was not successful. So great job by the Wildcats in there on the first extra point effort. But here you're going to have, as far as on kickoffs, you're going to have generally Cameron Howe kicks off, number 45, who's a 6'3", 200-pounder, and he's had 77 kickoffs coming in, 19 touchbacks, and the longest is 55. So let's see what happens on this kickoff, Jeremy.
So here comes the kick. It's going to be a little spooch kick. Grun picks it up at the 10, goes right, looks for a gap, has it for a moment, squirts out across the 20, and makes it all the way up to the 24-yard line. So good field position for the Wildcats as they start their first drive of the second quarter, down 12-7.
On the tackle, Dylan Steinloggy.
And for the year, they've had Wildcats scored 485 points. That's in 11 games. And they averaged 44 points a game. And they had 46 total rushing touchdowns and 12 passing touchdowns, 58 total. And they need one right now.
And they give it up the middle.
They faked it.
Gefeller keeps it. He's going to lose a yard on the play. So that defense for B&B gets in there. Gefeller with 6 carries, 8 yards.
That's the old gun read offense in there, he calls it, and faked it to the halfback, and then he tried to keep it in there, but they smelled it out and lost half a yard.
Second down and 11. Sun starting to set a bit in the west. Here in Newton. Gefeller to throw, under some pressure, throws it backside. That was intended for Caden Daly, and incomplete.
They wanted to kind of have a little screen out here into the flat, and it got smelled out pretty good. And of course, they made Kyle throw the ball a little bit quicker than he wanted to, and of course, it went flying right over his head. And so Caden Daly had an incomplete reception there, so it brings up about third down and just about 10.5 yards to go.
Third down and 11. They go left side. There's some running room for Kling. Looking for a first down. He is going to be
close.
Just short.
Very close.
He is short by about a half a yard the way it looks.
Tackle made by Blake Peters.
Bring him over, Stu says. We're going to measure this again.
I tell you what, the Chain Gang's getting some action here in this game.
Yeah, they are. Well, Stu says, what is this time? Oh, we get down and take a real good look.
Links.
Yeah.
If that.
They'll bring up a 4th and inches call.
Almost got to get to the 35-yard line or 34-yard line. And they're, he says about 2 inches short of first down.
Well, here we go.
4th down and a whistle bit, just a little bit.
Well, you got to figure it's going to be Gefeller on the run here. He runs it, he pushes forward, he has the first down. Up across the 35, he picked up a couple on the play.
Unless they stack it up, they're good. You're going to go right behind Dalton Walker, that center, 215-pound senior. He's a bull.
So first down and 10 from the 35.
And remember, I said earlier, this Wallace County Wildcats, they've won the weightlifting championships they have in high school, 8-man. They've won it 3 years in a row. They're state champs.
Well, they want to control time of possession. This is one way to do it. It's going to be a pitch to the right. Kling has one man out there. He beats him down the sideline. He turns on the jets and is pushed out of bounds near the 20-yard line. And Kyle Gefeller, well, he got hit pretty good on that option, and he is limping, but the huge pickup down to the 21-yard line. A pickup of 23 yards and a first down. And you hope Kyle Gefeller is okay.
Yeah, you can see his dad's assistant coach on the sideline. His dad's kind of like, well, hang in there, buddy. I don't know if he can or not. He's going to have to hurry up in his I formation and give the ball to somebody else and hope he don't.
And they go right side and a little bit of running room.
They gave it the first back, and he had old Luke Shim.
Actually, he picked up 6 yards on the play. It's 2nd down and 4.
Yeah, they just say smash mouth football. We're going to run Luke Shim, 160-pound sophomore, right up old Dalton Walker's hole that he's going to creep between him and Tyrell Springsdale.
And the thing is, if you're Kevin Ayers, at what point in time are you able to pull Kyle Gefeller off the field so you can wrap that ankle or do whatever you need to do?
You're not.
Because he's so integral offensively and defensively. 2nd and 4. Little counterplay. Kling with the run nears the first down marker. There is a flag. And I think that's going to be a personal foul that's going to be called on Sism.
I think it's going to be a late hit on 20. Yeah.
Boy, Gefeller is a hurting unit right now. A pickup of a couple on the play.
Well, the receivers are out there trying to sort things out. What's going to happen? Here we go. Personal foul on the defense. Number 20, and they're stepping it off.
Be a half the distance to the goal line.
It's on the defense, half the distance to the goal, first down.
So really a 6-yard penalty against B&B, but a first down for Wallace County.
Yeah, and yeah, the umpire's back in there. He's get where he needs to be. Kyle's really hurting bad, Kyle Gefeller.
And that takes a important part of this offense away. Kling tries to break to the outside, but he's going to be brought down after a pickup of a yard on the play. Sism on the tackle. Muting was out there as well. 1 yard. Clock winds with 8:15 to go.
And Kling's had 119 carries for 826 yards all year long, 15 touchdowns by the running the ball, and had 4 pass receptions for 43 yards. So he's more of a threat, of course, running game than they are passing.
2nd down and goal from the 5. Gefeller options it to the right. Kling to the edge. He's brought down. No gain on the play. Out there on an island all by himself was Dylan Schmitz. He came up, made one heck of an open field tackle.
They did a great job by Dylan Schmitz, 6'3", 180-pound senior. Comes in this here championship game with 67 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries.
There it is right there.
Right there. Yes.
A heck of a play. You have to have open field tackling skills. 3rd down. Gefeller's going to throw. He trips and falls. Well, B&B thought the ball was coming loose before he went down, but they're going to back it all the way back to the 11-yard line. A loss of 5 on the play.
And he's also the kicker and the field goal kicker, like I mentioned before. but with his lower leg right there, I don't know.
You'd have to think that Wallace County, when they go on defense, is going to have to take a chance and put somebody else in defensively to get Gefeller wrapped up.
Look here, they're going to try to kick a field goal.
They are going to try and kick it from 26 yards out. The snap is a little high. They're going to fake it. There's a pitch back to Gefeller. He's in trouble. He is not going to get away. He's brought down. They try for the fake. Gefeller is brought down. He is going to lose 5 yards back to the 16, make it 6 to the 17-yard line, and B&B takes over 1st and 10.
Well, that was kind of a trick play there, the head in their sleeve, but legit-wise, you have to honor his field goal attempt.
And he might have had a chance on that had he been able to handle the pitch.
Yeah, and there's because he has previously kicked 32, 35, and 38-yard field goals this year. Kyle Gefeller has.
Shotgun formation. Rottinghouse to throw. Does a little bubble shovel screen type of thing. That ball's loose and is out of bounds. Oh, it squirts loose out of bounds. They're going to mark it right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Wallace County was not fooled on that play.
Now, they've seen that formation before, but that's what the coach indicated that they like to do out of that trips one way and a split, kind of like the Texas Tech set. They do a little shuffle pass, roll out, do some roll out passing, and then isolate one-on-one. And, of course, that was a shovel pass right there.
They're going to call it a loss of 1, so 2nd and 11. B&B up by 5, 6:20 to go in the first half. Rottinghouse throws it looking for Haug, incomplete, and it'll bring up 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, it's just overthrew his receiver. He was open. If you hit him on stride and had a perfect pass, so he probably could have caught that one because he's a good receiver. Cameron Haug has had 45 receptions for 836 yards this year, Jeremy, with 13 touchdowns. He averages 18.5 yards every time he catches the ball. Heck of an end. Tough kid.
3rd and 11. 6:18 to go in the first half. Bergman in motion. They're looking to throw over the middle for Haug. It's tipped and incomplete. Oh, man, that was
like
close.
A hot potato.
And Haug peels himself off the turf as he got hit pretty good in the back. It'll bring up 4th down in a punting situation for B&B. Boy, he about got it on the, after he bobbled it, and then they came in and helped finish it off.
Now there's where Dalton Walker, she gets his one play out. He's out there because it's maybe an obvious punt. So they're giving him a break on the sideline.
Rottinghouse will get it away. That is a knuckleball. Daly fields it. He's up across midfield. Spins across, looking to get to the outside. There's a couple of flags on the play. And 2 officials saw the same thing. They're both in the same area. It'll be 1st and 10 for Wallace County, likely back in their own territory.
Probably a
block in the back. Both teams have had penalties today that have hurt them. Wallace County will still have good field position, just not quite as good as they had hoped.
Block in the back, on the return, 10-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
You see, for the whole year, Wallace County's had 2,245 yards rushing, only 662 yards passing for just under 3,000 total. So you could say they actually run the ball probably 3/4 of the time.
They are going to most likely run it here again. They give it up the middle to Kling, who's hit by Rottinghouse after a pickup of 2 on the play.
And they stuck old Luke Shim out that time, kind of split him out as a receiver, as a decoy, and then they brought Kling right up the gut.
And with Gefeller's injury, it's almost taken his run game out of the picture.
Yeah, his mobility, his flexibility, and being able to be elusive with his feet is just too much of a challenge now since he's got dinged up in there a few series ago.
You got to figure that he looks like he's moving around a little bit better. With the chill in the air, that won't help anything at all either. He's going to throw it, steps back, rolls to his left. Pretty good mobility there. Throws it up the field, nearly intercepted by Schmitz. It is incomplete, intended for Daly. And bring up third down. Well, I think whatever it was Allen, and that was pretty good mobility that time as Gefeller rolled to his left.
But it's also tough to run back to you roll out to your left and your right-handed quarterback and you throw back. He was still running on deal, and he didn't have time to set up, and get his feet squared underneath him before he threw the ball. Pretty good spiral the way it was, but it's tough. Being an old quarterback myself, it's tough to do that. You're, run left and if you're right-handed quarterback.
3rd and 8. Give up the middle. Kling hit. He springs forward for a pickup of a yard on the play. It'll bring up 4th down and 7.
Either punting formation or a punting option coming up now probably. And they've already given that kind of fake field goal and then a little pass up. So I doubt if they tried a little trickery on that play. And not where they're at since they're on their side of the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I think trickery would be out of the question here. Gefeller to punt it away. Gets a nice one, goes over towards the sideline, and it will bounce out of bounds. Looks like right at the 10-yard line. So 1st down and 10 for B&B at their own 10. Gefeller doing a good job kicking that away from Steinlocke. And 70 yards to go for the Falcons.
Absolutely, that's a good job. That's a good job. A good punt by Kyle that time. 1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line, the old Falcons. See, they've had 4,200 yards for the whole year in their 12 games.
1st down and 10. Roddinghouse wants to make something happen. He's going to throw it up the field. That's going to be too far. We're going to have a penalty flag on the play. Whether it's pass interference or defensive holding, I'm not sure. We'll see.
Probably defensive holding for sure on 27. Look,
pass interference. They're going to call pass interference. 60 yards and penalties in this first half against Wallace County. That will make Kevin Ayers an unhappy head coach.
I don't want to be in this huddle there.
Pass interference on the defense. 15-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
For the whole year, though, he's had they average 37 tackles a game. 26 sacks they've had, and they're all against their opponents, and 14 interceptions. So they're going to be tested today.
1st and 10, 25. Roddinghouse throws it over the middle. Haug makes the catch. He's going to pick up 11 and a 1st down for 10 and a 1st down for B&B.
Good job, good read, good pass pattern, and that's not their first time that's happened.
Yeah.
Go 16 to 45.
Not their first rodeo.
No.
Senior to senior. Haug and Blake Dieters make pretty good connections for Roddinghouse at the quarterback spot. Ball at the 36. Dustin pump fakes to throw it to the outside. Haug couldn't bring it in. Got hit by Callahan Grund after he made contact with the football at 2nd down.
That just kind of a little Z in and a little flare out to the outside there for that time. But, he averages 18.5 yards every time he catches the ball. Cameron Haug does. And about had another one there.
2nd down and 10. Cameron Haug comes split to the near side. B&B would like a big play here. In motion is Sudbeck. Looking to throw. Under pressure. Throws it up the field. Well, he had Blake Dieters running wide open down the field, but again, he was rolling to his left that time, Larry. Really couldn't set his feet to throw the football.
Yeah, it's tough. When you're right-handed quarterback and you're just running hard and fast to your left, and then you try to throw it back across the grain, seldom happens. I mean, You're lucky it's not getting intercepted because he couldn't put the zip on the ball that he wanted to. He's lucky he got rid of it.
I look to see the Wildcats bring some heat this time on Rottinghouse. Try and get this ball back on 3rd down and 10.
What they do is going to be blitzing. Look where the linebacker's stacked right behind the center, see?
And here they come. And Rottinghouse gets it away, but he had to get it away before he was ready, and that pass intended for Steinlage, incomplete, 4th down. So good pressure by the Wildcats on that play. That's 3 straight incompletions.
Generally, whenever you see that linebacker stacked right behind that nose guard, he's going to blitz left or right, whichever way the center and the nose guard engage their blocking scheme, because number 4, in this case, Luke Shim, he's coming.
Rottinghouse back to punt the football away again. It has been a defensive battle today. There's a snap back. Rottinghouse gets it away. It's a high wobbler over towards the sideline. That bounces out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it at.
Keep walking up a little bit more, a little bit more. There he is.
Put it at the 18-yard line. So 1st down and 10 from the 18 with 3:45 to go for Wallace County. And now a chance for the Wildcats back on offense to try and make something happen. They haven't had much luck on it lately.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And like you said, 3:45 to go to halftime, and Wallace County trails 12-7.
Shim is going to flank Gefeller on the right. Kyle's going to give it to Luke. He's coming in near side. He has some blockers. Gets it up the sideline, a stiff arm. He runs over the top of Sism. Up across the 35 to the 37, a pickup of 19 yards and a 1st down.
It was kind of a different little formation right then. Kind of like the old, wasn't necessarily the I, kind of a pro or twin split, I guess.
And good lead block as you see on your screen. Clay Shim leading the way for Luke. 1st and 10, Wallace County. They're knocking on B&B's side of the field. It's going to be Gefeller on the keeper. He's hit by Ethan Schmitz. And will be stopped at the 39-yard line. A pickup of 2 on the play, 2nd and 8.
Takes a beating and kind of limps back to the huddle.
Gefeller is yet to get untracked offensively.
It's going to be tough.
10 carries, 11 yards unofficially.
You just can't run without your legs, and if you're not healthy, your legs or your foot or shins or ankle, whatever his situation is, it's just tough. You just got to hustle up. You don't fumble and hand the ball off to somebody else.
2nd down and 8. There's a pitch out. It's going to be a halfback pass. Man was open down the field, but brought down. In the backfield, Cameron Haug leading the way. Also in there was Cole Dieters. A loss for Kling, back to the 34-yard line, a loss of 5. 3rd and 13 with 2:10 to go in the 1st half.
Didn't trick anybody on that one, did they? Huh?
B&B was ready for it. These are 2 very well-coached teams. It is tough to get something over on them. There's a draw play. Kling with some running room. He gets back up to the previous line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 4th down and 8. Pickup of 5.
3rd and 10. Oh, damn. Just running house on the tackle.
4th down and 8.
And he's going to go for it with 1 minute to 30 seconds to go in the 1st half.
Gefeller going to step back. B&B says we're not going to be fooled by that one. Last time Gefeller pinned him in at the 10-yard line. This time he's not going to get that done. That is going to bounce and go out of bounds.
For about a 9-yard punt.
Not a very good kick. That's a 8-yard punt. We'll call it an 8-yard punt with 1:12 to go. Now B&B a chance. With 1:12 to go and all 3 timeouts remaining.
And they'll use the clock to the best of their advantage, I'm quite sure.
They know how to get the ball up the field in a hurry, but this Wallace County defense hasn't made it easy on him. Sudback up the middle. He gets hit, and he's going to pick up a 1 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Well, and the clock keeps running when you do that.
B&B with only 12 yards rushing in the first half, 144 yards through the air. They're ready to go again. Back to pass. Bergman makes the catch. He's pushed out of bounds by Gefeller up at the 38-yard line. And that's going to be a pickup of 4 yards, and it will bring up 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, 3rd and 5, and I don't know. Wallace County is trying to play discipline, try to stay at home, do your own job, but it's tough.
44 seconds, clock is stopped. 3rd down and 5 for the Falcons. They've brought pressure the last few times. They bring it again. Pass is nearly intercepted. It's incomplete. Boy, Grund was close, but the side judge and the back judge both at the same time signaled incomplete. It's 4th and 5.
But he almost got that interception right there as the clock's ticking down with only about 40 seconds to go to halftime. Come close, but now it's 4th down again for the Falcons.
Well, I think if you're B&B, almost have to punt it here.
Either that or just run it and let that kind of run the clock. I just put the ball in the. But knowing now, that probably Coach Cope. No, he's going to call timeout. Think about it.
They will take a timeout. 39 seconds left to go in the first half. Larry Jansen timeout on the field. 4th down and 5. A tight ball game, 12-7. Get inside Justin Cope's mind right now.
I think he's calling timeout here. He's going to maybe try one go for the end zone. A Hail Mary pass type thing, or a hook and ladder.
But the thing is, if you don't make it, you give Wallace County the ball in your own territory. Wallace County still with 3 timeouts and a field goal kicker.
I think both teams think their defense can hold them. I think both coaches believe that. So I think you look for a little trickery here. Try to score a touchdown by Coach Cope. Even though it lead 12-7, and he wants to take the lead in the half, make sure he takes the lead in the halftime. I don't put anything past him.
Well, they are lining up. Haug split to the near side. Dieters is tight left.
See, that's one of those.
Bergman in the slot. There's some pressure. Rottinghouse throws it up the field looking for Bergman, and he has it. He brings it in at the 24. An amazing catch by Brendan Bergman, and a 1st down for B&B.
And he had his feet in there, too. This is the right line.
A pickup of 18 yards and a 1st down.
They're going to move the clocks, and 32.5 seconds go, and Stu winds the clock. Stu Chance.
Back to pass again. This one is intended and completed to Cameron Haug.
Now we're playing the old sideline game.
Out of bounds at the 18-yard line. He picks up 6.
You had 5 and 6 yards, and hey, you can do this another 5 times the way those guys go.
25.9 seconds on the clock here at Fisher Field.
Look for it one more time, 2 times this way, and then they fake it, and then they hit the kid empty in the end zone behind them.
Might try it here. Rottinghouse fakes it, throws it up the field. Man is out there. It's caught. It's a touchdown for Blake Dieters. He hauls it in from 18 yards out, and I'm assuming that's defensive pass interference, but let's wait to see the official call.
Caden Daly, I think. One way or the other, who pushed off on who, huh?
Stu Chance will make the call. It's going to be against Wallace County, so count the 18-yard touchdown pass.
Pass interference on the defense results in a touchdown. The penalty will be accepted and enforced on the kickoff.
Penalty is declined.
So the touchdown counts, an 18-yard strike, and B&B is on top 18-7. looking for the two-point conversion pass. Dieters is out there. He has it, and the two-point conversion is good with 20 seconds left to go in the first half. B&B on the board again. An 18-yard touchdown pass to Blake Dieters, and here's another look at it right here. Right in his hands for 6 points. A big, big drive for B&B to go up by 2 scores.
Yeah, with 25.8 seconds to go in the half, why there's you just don't put anything past him. I told you, he said I thought he would probably go for it and try to put up a score.
Hey, you were right.
And because I didn't think he'd sit on it, I didn't think he was going to punt. That's just the way they score. That's just the way their mentality is set. Then they can score at any time, any place, anywhere.
Well, now Wallace County, they still do have 3 timeouts, but they assess that penalty, and it will be up a 15-yarder.
Now, if I'm Cameron Haug, I'll guarantee you, I'm going to kick this ball as hard as I can. I'm going to get a touchback, so there's no chance of them running back. And let's just wait until we get a defensive set, have them take the ball from the 15-yard line with 20.5 seconds to go to halftime. So my deal here on my team is that I want the ball to sail clear to the end zone on my kickoff.
Yeah, we'll see.
No squib kicks.
No, that is not a squib. It almost made it through the uprights, but just a little bit to the right, so it'll be 1st and 10 from the 15 for Wallace County.
That's kind of what I thought they'd do.
There's a darn good chance of it.
Well, if I was a coach, that's what I want the kid to do.
We don't want to give them an opportunity to make a play.
They could. Well, they might have a handoff back in there, cross back then like this, and all of a sudden sneak one in, and they run all the way back, and then momentum went on the Wallace County sideline for halftime. So if you're the Falcons coach, that's what you want to eliminate, and they just did that. Now you've got 20.5 seconds to go. Look at here.
Gefeller's going to run it. Coming to the sideline, looking for a block. Cuts it in. He's still on his feet. He's up to midfield. He's going to be brought down at the 36-yard line and a timeout.
They're going to call timeout. Timeout for move the sticks anyway.
First down and 10. So now you have a chance for Gefeller to get the ball to the end zone, or maybe you try like a 10-yard out pattern and make it that much easier to throw it to the end zone. But you look at Gefeller battling here. I think he's forgotten about that injury as he gets it up to the 36-yard line of the B&B Falcons.
The way he zigged and zagged on that run right then, you wouldn't think he had any leg injuries at all.
There's a point, I think, where adrenaline takes over for a while. Now the key for him is going to be at halftime, if it is an ankle, to make sure he keeps that thing from stiffening up. He's going to have to keep it moving around and keep some ice on it and do what they can to keep it healthy.
Yeah, and if you knew, he just is tough. He comes from that lineage, though. See, his grandpa Dave's about that tough. He taught that to his son Dennis, who's Kyle's dad. So they're all tough, them old boys.
We'll see what they do, if they're going to try and pick up a few yards and get out of bounds, or you can call a timeout as well, or if you're going to go for the end zone here. If you're B&B, you want to be careful. If you're Wallace County, a score here means you're within 1 score and you get the ball to start the second half. Tight formation for the Wildcats. Gefeller to throw. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to be hit and dropped. He picks up 1.
Timeout.
And a timeout by Wallace County. Now this will be a heave to the end zone. Well, B&B was there.
He might have an empty backfield this time.
Yeah, I would think so. You split a couple to one side, you bring one to the other side, and you hope that you can come up with something. Maybe even split 3 to one side. That way you can either create a one-on-one matchup on one or go for a tip ball on the other.
Well, he does have one of his 3 offensive sets he uses. He uses the I formation, which we see most of the time. He uses the pro occasionally. And he's got the twin split. Well, I'd say this is probably going to be a twin split type formation that he's going to use. And then probably just either play action pass with one and just Hail Mary and let her go, Kyle.
There's 3.7 seconds left here in this first half.
Well, the play has been called by Kevin Ayers, the brain trust over there for the Wallace County Wildcats. And so here they come up. See, there you go. You got trips to that one side.
And they are going to try the heave. Gefeller gets to the outside. He's going to have a chance to throw it down the field. It's down there. It's going to be knocked away, nearly intercepted by Dylan Steinlage, but it is incomplete, and we have come to halftime. We have ourselves a heck of a football game, Larry Chance. 20-7, B&B looking to go back-to-back for state titles for the first time. They played one half. They're halfway there.
That's right. They're halfway there, but it ain't over yet. You know, the old gal ain't singing up on top of the stage yet or top of the table, but Kevin will get them lined up here at halftime, or Ayers will. And I think a lot of it's going to go down to how healthy can Kyle Gefeller be, because he's our spark plug, offense and defense.
He definitely is, and we'll have to see how he comes out here in the second half. We are at halftime. B&B on top, 20-7. We'll be back with your second half and some statistics right after this. This is the 8-man Division II state championship game on Smoky Hills Public Television.
The presentation of the 8-man Division II state football championship is brought to you in part by
Nemaha Central USD 115. The Board of Education and Community support the B&B Falcon football team at state.
From Rural Telephone and Nextech, providing the region with telephone, internet, cable television, and wireless phone solutions, Rural Telephone and Nextech proudly support public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
American Lodge and Suites in Heston, offering a welcoming lobby with fireplace, 42 rooms including jacuzzi suites, indoor pool and spa, continental breakfast, and meeting room. American Lodge and Suites in Heston. Welcome to the end of the day.
Baileyville State Bank of Seneca, proud supporters of the Baileyville B&B Falcon Athletics, wishing the football team best of luck at state. Shelter Insurance of Seneca. Agent Doug Hyman has been serving the surrounding area since 1979, proud supporter of the B&B Falcons.
The First National Bank of Centralia, Corning, Seneca, and Vermilion. Nemaha County Co-op serving 9 locations in northeast Kansas. Midwest Ag Service, LLC, Seneca.
This Old House, show number 1, WGBH-TV, Boston.
Hello, I'm Bob Vila. New plumbing, new electrical.
We're using PVC, polyvinyl chloride.
This is going to be great, a good-sized addition.
We're able to plant right up until the ground's solid. Hi, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to This Old House.
Hi, Dean Johnson from Home Time here. Every week on the show, we try to dive into a home improvement project that we think a lot of people would like to learn more about. And even though we've been building and remodeling for 20 years, we always find something new and interesting to share with you on every project. So join Miriam, me, and the rest of the Home Time crew every week as we do remodeling the Home Time way. Real people, real projects.
Saturday at 1:30 on Smoky Hills Public Television.
I know Jerry through his books that he has written.
His novels are very interesting.
He's a good country boy.
He's, famous.
He's the Studs Terkel of Waushara County.
Join author Jerry Apps talking about farm life during the 1930s and 40s.
He writes the way history should be told.
A Farm Story with Jerry Apps.
It's a PBS celebration of the very best music from the 1960s. With Motown, soul, and rock and roll. And all your favorites from the 1960s. It's My Music, the best of the 60s, right here on PBS.
Wednesdays at 8 on Smoky Hills Public Television.
presentation of the 8-man Division II State Football Championship is brought to you in part by
from Rural Telephone and Nextech, providing the region with telephone, internet, cable television, and wireless phone solutions. Rural Telephone and Nextech proudly support public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
Baileyville State Bank of Seneca, proud supporters of the Baileyville B&B Falcon Athletics, wishing the football team best of luck at state. Nemaha Central USD 115. The Board of Education and Community support the B&B Falcon football team at state. Shelter Insurance of Seneca. Agent Doug Hyman has been serving the surrounding area since 1979. Proud supporter of the B&B Falcons.
American Lodge and Suites in Heston, offering a welcoming lobby with fireplace, 42 rooms including jacuzzi suites, indoor pool and spa, continental breakfast, and meeting room. American Lodge and Suites in Heston. Welcome to the end of the day. The First National Bank of Centralia, Corning, Seneca, and Vermilion. Nemaha County Co-op serving 9 locations in northeast Kansas. Midwest Ag Service, LLC, Seneca.
Welcome back to Fisher Field in Newton. We're at halftime. The B&B Falcons with a 20-7 lead over the Wallace County Wildcats in the Division II State Championship game. Jeremy McGuire along with Larry Jansen. B&B showing their passing game. Larry 190 yards through the air, only 12 yards on the ground, 202 yards of total offense. 9 first downs for the Falcons, 1 turnover, 20 points. Wallace County, no yards through the air, 121 yards rushing, 6 first downs. They do have 2 turnovers and 7 points. Close game, both these teams doing what got them here. B&B with the passing game, Wallace County with the run game.
Yeah, and one of the main keys is just a misconnection between the quarterback and the handoff. So for Wallace County, and those 2 turnovers kind of hurt them because they can't afford to have any turnovers and nor penalties. And that's probably the difference in the score because the advantage went down there and first got that turnover by the Falcons and then put the ball in the end zone. And that's why they lead 7-0 at that time. But then they haven't had an answer since. And that's the reason why they scored 3 touchdowns to their 1 that they started off with.
Wallace County will get the ball to start the second half, and they have a chance to put some points on the board. How important will it be for them to sustain a drive here and keep the ball out of B&B's hands?
Well, I think it's very important, but they have had 662 yards passing in the air, and I think you might have to do a little bit more mixing up with the passing game and the running game, because I think they just know they're teeing off and they're just factoring on Dalton Walker, their center. He's their bull, and they've just been getting a cloud of dust, 3 yards, and they've been running the game because for the whole year they've had about 3,000 yards and over 2,200 of us coming from the run. But I think Kevin's going to have to put the ball in the air a little bit more. I don't care if it's play action passes, maybe it's flares, screen passes, bubble screen. Do something different to kind of mix it up.
Kyle Gefeller, injured in that first half, seemed to catch his wind and get better as the first half went on. A lot will depend on his health as well.
Yeah, he might only be about 80% effective, even if that. But he's a gutty kid and comes from a gutty stock, from Dave Gefeller to his sons, Kent and Dennis, all down here. And, of course, Dennis, Kyle's dad's on the sideline. But Eric, his younger sophomore brother, is a good quarterback too, and quarterback an undefeated JV team this year. So I mean, he's got experience too if they need somebody. I don't know who else besides Kyle does the quarterbacking for.
80% of Kyle Gefeller is better than a lot of people at 100 though.
Well, yeah, that's true too. So we're going to find out. Like you said, they're going to get the ball here because they're kind of teeing it up, old Howg here for the Falcons. And their opportunity here is they got 1 half football to go to do a back-to-back state championships if they can pull it off, and they lead by 2 touchdowns.
Kyle is not back to receive the kick. Back deep for Wallace County is Callahan Grunt. Cameron Howg will put it in the air, and it's going to be a short one. It's going to bounce and kick to Grunt. He picks it up at the 12, looking to get to the outside. He slips a tackle, still on his feet, and is going to be pushed out of bounds as he crosses the 25-yard line and nears the 30. They will mark him about the 28-yard line. That's going to bring up first down and 10 for Wallace County.
That's pretty good run there, really.
Well, heck yeah. I mean, he had to pick it up off the bounce to secure the football and then go. First down and 10. Gefeller's in there. They're going to hand it off to Kling. He gets to the sideline, looks for a block. He gets one. He's on the loose. Kling at the 20, 15, and brought down. The ball is loose. Who has it? I think it is Is it B&B football? They came up with it.
Just what you didn't want to have. Great run.
It is B&B football at the 3-yard line. A huge, huge turnover.
Great run. And all of a sudden on the way on the tackle down there, they stripped the ball from him.
Man, that was a big one. Boy, Kling had it all the way inside the 10 and then fumbled the football away. The third turnover against Wallace County. First and 10, B&B, a chance to really put some separation on the scoreboard. They will go shotgun or under center, and Rottinghouse will carry it.
Trying to get a little breathing room, wasn't he?
Picked up one. Dalton Walker in the middle of that fracas. And it'll bring up second and 9.
So move the ball from the 4 to the 5, huh?
Second and 9.
14 yards running in the first half, or 13 in the first half for Rottinghouse. He gets one there. He'll go back to his shotgun formation. Wallace County shows pressure. They're going to bring a little bit. Rottinghouse, time to throw it. Throws down the field. Haug is out there. He has it. He's trying to break a tackle. Still on his feet and is ripped down inside Wallace County territory at the 37-yard line.
Well, that way he caught Caden Daly, the safety, not really looking where the ball was at, because Cameron just at the way that he knew the ball was underthrown a little bit. He stopped, and Caden kept on running on back, and then right here you saw and made a heck of a nice gain. But Haug's the one that made that happen, because the ball was underthrown a little bit.
39 yards and a first down. Back to pass. Rottinghouse has a man out there. Bergman has it inside the 10. He is brought down at the 7-yard line. Boy, they're getting it going now, and 30-yard pickup and first and goal.
He's got a nice pass, nice delivery, old Dustin does, and you can see why he's had probably coming in this game since sophomore year all the way up. Had 97 touchdowns through his career.
Boy, Bergman ran a nice pattern too, but Rottinghouse laid it right in there for him. First and goal from the 7. Man in motion, back to pass, the throw in the flat, the catch is, nope, he dropped it. Boy, Dieter started to run with the football before he had it.
He forgot a very important ingredient, didn't he?
Need that pigskin with you.
Absolutely.
Or cow leather, I guess you'd probably call it now, cowhide.
Yeah.
Maybe we're getting a little bit too philosophical.
Yeah, it might be made out of raccoons or a little deer skin or something. Who knows what it's made out of, but...
Now you're going way off in left field on me.
Sorry. Okay, rock.
Second and goal from the 7.
It's just a football.
Rottinghouse rolls, looking, in some trouble, throws it out of bounds, incomplete. Well, Dustin made the right choice there. Wallace County was ready. It'll bring up third down and goal from the 7.
Had a blitz package coming from the backside. You know, 25, Tyrell Springstill was all over him. 165-pound senior, 48 tackles, 1 fumble recovery. He made him throw that ball out of bounds just to protect it. So now you got third down. And Dustin's back again here, Jeremy.
Third down and goal. Rottinghouse to throw. Has some time. Has a man. It's tipped and incomplete. It went off Bergman. And then Haug had a chance to bring it in, went off of his hands and laid incomplete in the end zone. It's 4th and goal from the 7.
Blame it on the crispy weather. You know,
I always heard
Casper
that if the ball hits you in the hands, you should probably catch it.
Yeah, that's what they used to say.
And you see it go off of Bergman and then off of Haug, and you know they're probably thinking the same thing in a timeout on the field with 9:57 to go in the 3rd quarter. So Wallace County had a run, a fumble inside the 10. B&B recovered it. They've driven it all the way down to the Wallace County 7, have went incomplete on 3 consecutive passes. It's 4th and goal from the 7, and Justin Cope trying to figure out a good play to run here on 4th down and goal.
He calls his first time out of the second half, so he's just trying to dial up a touchdown play right here.
And he's listening to his kids right now saying, hey, what are they doing to you out there? What do you think will work? And ultimately the decision lies with Coach Cope, but it also gets down to the point to where he wants to run a play that his kids are confident with too.
Yes, and Justin's been at the helm in 3 years here, while he's 36 wins and 2 losses coming into this game today, so
not too bad.
No, great kids and great leadership.
4th and goal from the 7. Rottinghouse to throw it. He's going to step up. He's hit, and he is dropped at the 5-yard line. Wallace County got the pressure and brings Rottinghouse down at the 5, and they will take over 1st down and 10 at their own 5-yard line.
That old nose guard, Dalton Walker, was in on some of that action.
That's one person that Justin Cope was worried about defensive. Well, one amongst many, but he said Dalton Walker has a motor that just doesn't stop.
Well, all those guys in that 3-4 defense, all of them had right around 50 tackles. They spread it out pretty equally from Gagafeller to Clay. Now here we go on offense by the Wildcats.
1st down and 10.
Luke
Shim breaks it up the middle, trying to get to the edge. He's going to pick up 5 yards across the 20 to the 21. 2nd down and 5.
And they bring in 85 Cold Eaters come in here this time. 6 foot, 175 pounds. And he had 99 tackles so far this year and 2 interceptions.
Ethan Schmitz moves out to defensive end positions for Blake Sissom.
They're getting ready to blitz.
And they're going to give it up the middle to Shim again. Boy, he is running hard. He's going to have 1st down pickup of 7 yards up to the 18-yard line, 1st down and 10.
Yeah, Derek Mutering plays middle linebacker for the Falcons in their 3-3 stack or 3-2 defense.
Watch Shim run right here.
Yeah.
Boy, that is a strong run. He is not giving up.
For a sophomore, he's pretty tough, isn't he?
Yeah, this Wallace County team is going to be good for a while. Have a sophomore and a junior tailback, a senior-laden offensive line. Pretty solid. They give it left side. Gefeller. Boy, he is a shoestring away from breaking that one further as Rottinghouse got his hand on him.
A good quarterback keeper after a couple fakes, and they went for the fakes and left him open on there. But you look at Derek Mutering, the old middle linebacker, he's had 123 tackles for the year. That's awesome. 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. That's quite a deal. Old Mutering, huh?
Yeah, a kid can play. Everybody on these 2 teams can play. They wouldn't be here. There's a give up the middle, very close to a 1st down for Luke Shim.
I don't think he made it though. Do you?
No, I think he's just short.
I
think he's just short. 3rd down and 1. He picked up a couple.
One guy says
3rd down and 1. 7:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. And Gefeller's going to pitch it outside to Kling.
1st down.
He breaks a tackle and he's punched out of bounds, crosses the 30, marked out at the 32-yard line. That is good enough for a 1st down, a pickup of 5.
Did you see that football fumble clear out of bounds in it too, or they just punched the ball down on the tackle?
I'm not sure.
We were blinded by here. I couldn't really see it but as he was going out of bounds, I know the ball was rumbling, stumbling on its own.
First down and 10, 42-yard line. And Shim's going to have it again. He goes left side. Boy, they are riding the sophomore right now. As well they should. He picks up 5 more yards. Last time I checked, you pick up 4 or 5 yards a carry, you're going to have a first down after 3 runs.
There you go. Dalton Walker, I mean, tell you what, that old mean little tough little center there, he's leading the way. 215-pound senior. Clay Shim is guard, 180-pound senior.
Second down and goal, or second down and 5. They're going to give it again. Shim will carry. He lunges towards midfield. He's going to pick up 3 on the play. It'll bring up third down and 2.
Oh, lay that wind down. Justin Ronnie House made the tackle. Third and 2.
Third down and 2 or 1, whichever way you want to describe it. We'll call it 2. Gefeller is going to give it up the middle. It's Shim again. He leans forward, picks up 5 down to the B&B 35-yard line.
He's been the workhorse on this drive and several of them today. Him and old Kling.
First down and 10. B&B showing pressure, and they might have jumped into the neutral zone.
I think he faking that blitz might have been Dustin Runningham.
5-yard penalty, still first down.
Dustin got his helmet in there too far, I think.
First down and 5 from the 30. Gefeller's going to keep it. He's going to be hit and dropped. He's going to lose about a half a yard on the play. Cameron Haug knifes in, or excuse me, Rottinghouse brings up second down and 5. Well, I hope you're enjoying this one, folks. This is a classic football game. There's a give up the middle. Jim, no gain. So they get 5 yards on the penalty. Since that point, they've gone nowhere on 2 straight runs.
Yeah, the most improved by the Falcons, Coach Cope told me, Blake Chisholm, they needed a defensive end to either be smart or a giant to take over that, Cullen Stahlbaumer's place a year ago, and he's one stepped up.
Yeah, Curtis Stahlbaumer was a heck of a player for this B&B team. Back to pass, Gefeller throwing it down the middle. Daly's out there. There's a battle for it. It's incomplete. Blake Dieter's on the coverage. It will bring up fourth down and 5. Gefeller's 0 for 6 throwing the football today.
And Derek Mutig, that middle linebacker, he runs the ball real well. He's a leading tackler, 185-pound junior. He's had 123 tackles all year, 5 sacks. After week 1 and 2, they moved him up to center to solidify the line, so he's done a great job, as you can see here today.
Fourth down and 5. Wallace County's going to go for it with 4:42 to go in the third quarter.
Big play.
Gefeller's going to throw it again. Looks incomplete. I don't know where he was going with that one. He had Kling out there. He had Daly out there, but it's incomplete.
I didn't see it.
And it's first down and 10. Either somebody went the wrong direction or Gefeller threw it in the wrong spot.
Take your pick, huh?
Yep. Because there's a couple of guys out there that look like they were open.
Well, I didn't think he was under that much duress or pressure to pass as quick as he did, but he let it go pretty quick and didn't ever get to the receiver. He's about 5 to 7 yards short of getting the receiver.
First down and 10 from the 30. B&B a 13-point lead. They look to add to it here. Boy, Rottinghouse mishandled that snap for a second, then on the run. Boy, he got that football. And Brendan Bergman, he is a quick one. He picks up 7.
Yeah, there's a great block there by Blake Dieters just to help get old Bergman a few more yards. Made a good block, sealed the guy out, the guy cut underneath of it.
Well, if I was B&B, I would look for that option step back pass. You run the option probably right side, take one step back and hit somebody streaking down the field because Wallace County was coming after the pitch. 2nd down and 3. Rottinghouse, he's going to run it. Goes right side with some room. Tucks it in. He's in Wallace County territory and brought down at the 35. A pickup of 8 yards on the play.
1st down, move the sticks again. So it's going to be the ball about the 35.5-yard line of Wallace County. So the Falcons are on the move again.
1st and 10 just outside the 35. 3:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. It is a 13-point advantage for the Falcons. They have the football and they're driving. They're looking for their 5th state championship. Back to pass, Rottinghouse throws it up, has a man out there, Bergman, and that is going to be pass interference. That's going to be called on Daly. Going to be a 15-yard. Caden Daly never turned around to find the football. Gets whistled for the pass interference. It's a 1st down on the 15-yard penalty. 7 penalties, 90 yards against the Wildcats.
He's trying to tell the referee that he was holding on to my jersey.
Pass interference on the defense, 15-yard penalty, results in a 1st down.
So it is a 1st down. B&B cheer squad there looks a little bit chilly.
Yes, they do. Oh, they're bundled up for it, though.
Ball at the 20-yard line. Falcons knocking on the door. If they score here, it's going to make it awfully tough for Wallace County, even though there's still a little over a quarter left to play. They give it underneath the Sudback. He slides forward, picks up about 3 on the play. And in on the tackle was Tyrell Springfield.
He's not
Springsteel, excuse me.
He's not a bad sophomore either, old Neil Sudbeck, 5'10", 170-pound sophomore. Had 54 carries for the year, 453 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's even had 1 touchdown by the air, 4 receptions for 80 yards and 1 TD. So number 6, 5'10", 170-pound sophomore.
Averaged a little over 8 yards a carry in the regular season.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. 2nd and 7, back to Bass Rottinghouse, under some pressure, throws it up, incomplete. Dieters fell down to the ground, but a mix-up in feet, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 7.
I think it's that soccer yellow line that tripped him.
It could have been.
He was right about in that spot. I mean, those lines did come up off the turf, you know. It's a little cold, probably got a little, who knows.
Justin Cope talking to his team on the sideline. Want them to punch another one in the end zone across the way. Kevin Ayers imploring his defense to get a stop on 3rd down and 7. This is a big play. Rottinghouse surveys the defense. The senior steps back, throws it, has a man out there. The catch is made by Dieters. He is going to score. Blake Dieters from 18 yards away into the end zone. That is his 3rd touchdown catch of the ball game, and B&B is up 26-7.
Just a good read, and good pass. Just a good pass play, good timing, good rhythm. Catch the ball, do a little zigzag, and then make Daly miss it and go right on in the end zone.
Well, now Wallace County has quite a hill to climb. The first score of the 2nd half, 2-point conversion attempt now. Rottinghouse options. He's going to keep it. Then he pitches it out. It's going to be Steinlage in for the 2-point conversion with 2:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. All of a sudden, it's 28-7, a 3-touchdown lead for the B&B Falcons, Larry Jantz.
Yeah, and Dustin did a great job right there on that one there. I mean, that extra point, he's going to keep it for a while, and all of a sudden the end started coming at him at the last second. Pitched it out there. Old Dylan Steinlage, the 5'10", 160-pound sophomore, They had 28 carries, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns this year, and 21 receptions for 283 yards, 4 touchdowns by the air. And he just scored a 2-point extra point there to put the old Falcons up, like you said, like 3 touchdowns. Jeremy?
Well, Wallace County's going to have to open it up. I know you mentioned it at halftime, but the Wildcats are going to have to open it up and find some guys open, because right now they trail by 3 touchdowns. And, you know, once B&B, if they get the ball back, even if Wallace County scores, you have to watch out for their offensive firepower. So Wallace County needs yards, they need points, 2:28 to go in the third quarter.
Well, and you know, that one good run there earlier, but then the fumbled inside that 10-yard line, that hurt him. They're about ready to go in and score again. See?
That was a killer. That was their third turnover.
Put the dagger in him.
Haug pooches that one. It's picked up the middle. Look out, some running room for Caden Daly. He breaks free. He's on his way. Daly at the 10, the 5, the touchdown for Wallace County. There's a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like it might be against B&B.
There wasn't anybody else in that area by the Wallace County, was there?
Number 3 was out there, Reed Warner, the senior. Touchdown is good. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about throwing the ball too much.
The touchdown is good.
Boy, Caden Daly picked that thing up at the 25-yard line, and he rumbled 65 yards for the touchdown.
Roughness, charged into a player out of the play, results in a touchdown, penalty being forced on the kickoff.
So Caden Daly scores the touchdown. A big one for the Wallace County Wildcats.
That was a penalty on somebody that wasn't involved in the play. You know, unnecessary roughness. So, 2:19 to go. By golly, now we only 2 touchdowns now.
And they're going to go for 2. Gefeller is going to give it left side to Shim, and he's going to be hit and down. And the 2-point conversion is no good, so 2:19 to go, 28-13. And that penalty is going to hurt B&B. Now, if you're Wallace County, do you try and squib one?
Kyle Gefeller thought he got stepped on a little bit after he got knocked down after making the play, so he's having a good chit-chat there with old Stu Chance, the head referee.
Kyle a little slow getting over to the sideline, but he's going to need to kick this football. One thing he's going to do is he's going to fight hard. You got to appreciate what that young man has done as his team gets back to within 15 points. We talked about throwing the ball and putting it in the air, but I guess if you get a 65-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, you don't have to worry about that, or 55 yards, excuse me.
That's a quick answer. And they needed one, and he got a quick little injection there. Called a touchdown.
And they will kick it off from the 35-yard line.
Even with a bad leg, he'll probably put this another touchback coming up.
Yeah. And they're going all the way over to the right hash to kick this. So you got to figure this is going to be an onside kick.
Well, you think?
Yeah, call me crazy.
No, I think you're probably right on this call.
Gefeller addresses the ball, and it is going to be an onside kick. It gets that bounce, but I believe B&B gets on it at the 20-yard line. We took a bounce, but not much of one. Sism on the recovery for the Falcons at the 20-yard line. 2:17 to go in the third.
He needed to put more angle on it towards the sideline, and then that gave his guys time enough to go the 10-yard. And then also they have to let it go 10 yards before they can touch it, so that had a better chance. He just kicked it too far downfield, I think.
Yep, a little bit too much gas. First down and 10. Back to pass Roddinghouse. He pump fakes. Still in some trouble. Looks up the field. That ball is tipped and nearly intercepted by Shim. He was looking for either, I can't remember if it was Dieters or Bergman. He looked for that fake on the little bubble screen and then wanted to go up the field with it, but the man slipped. I think it was Dieters. Incomplete and nearly intercepted.
And just the way that, again, I I dislike seeing a kid that's right-handed roll off to the left and then still don't plant your feet. You don't get your feet underneath of you and try to throw a pass back because that was a fluttering duck.
Well, I think he was hoping to throw it right away and then had to scramble away from pressure, which put him on the motion to his left. They're going to throw it again, looking down the seam. A man is out there, Dieters, and he can't get to it. Boy, he was open down the seam. Kyle Gefeller on the coverage, and you can tell that he is having problems running down the seam, and B&B is going to try and exploit that, but that pass was incomplete. It's 3rd down and 10.
Well, I thought Deirdre should have just taken a fly and just tried to catch it, because it looked like if he just lunged out for it or dove for it, he might have had at least a chance.
Boy, fans are bundled up,
aren't they?
Here at Fisher Field. The sun has gone down, still a breeze blowing. It makes it cold outside. Back to pass, Rottinghouse looking for that seam pass again, and it is caught. Oh, Bergman battled for that one with Gefeller. It's complete and a 1st down, a pickup of 14 yards.
Just a good, strong spiral, tight spiral, good pass, and they're just having good pass routes, and that's a key. They got a great quarterback, but if you don't run the good pass routes, you're not going to be successful. And here they're doing all of that. They got everything's clicking.
You saw that battle for that football on that replay. These kids wanting this with 1:45 to go and counting here in the 3rd. Wallace County could use a turnover. They had one early, cashed in on a touchdown. Rottinghouse under some pressure, throws it up. The ball is a little bit of a quack and incomplete. Good pressure put on by Tyrell Springsteel, and I like the sportsmanship I'm seeing from both sides of the football. Springsteel knocked Rottinghouse down, helped him back up.
Yeah, and kind of pat him on the helmet, and hey, good job, good, and all that. And good sportsmanship, you're absolutely right.
Rottinghouse has thrown 38 passes, completed 20 of them for 290 yards.
Wow. It'd be quite a day for most people. He's not done yet.
And 4 touchdowns. And that's a flag on the play. False start called on B&B.
Dead ball, snap infraction, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
The center simulated the snap.
Yes, he did. Well, yeah, I probably would too on a cold night like tonight. I mean, let's hurry up and get the ball back. Oh, Dustin's not ready. Well, it's too late. I already tried to.
You never know. You might try something hoping the officials don't see it too.
You think?
I know they're all honest.
Yes.
But
the zebras.
The occasional fracture of the rules.
To sneak one by the zebras. It just didn't happen.
2nd down and 15. Rottinghouse to throw again. Pump fakes. Look out. Dieters is open. He can't catch it. It went right through his hands, and Caden Daly is breathing a sigh of relief because he bit on that hook, line, and sinker.
He went on that pump fake, didn't he? He stopped because he thought he was throwing the ball, and then,
Look at it right here. The pump fake, there's the pass. It was right on the mark. And Dieters is going, oh, man.
I should have kept my eye on the ball.
But you have to have a short memory because here on 3rd down and 15, there's a good chance you're going to be the target as well.
Yeah.
There's the story right there. 1:15 to go in the 3rd. 28-13 B&B. Beautiful shot from our sideline camera. Here on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Another pass play.
Rottinghouse has time to throw. Throws it up over the middle. Knocked away. A nice play by Gefeller. That pass intended for Cameron Howg. It's incomplete. 4th down. A punting situation for the Falcons. So B&B went up 28-7. You think, man, Wallace County's in trouble. They get a kickoff return, and then they force a punt. Now the Wildcats will get the football back, and you got to wonder if they're going to put some pressure and try and get a hand on this punt. Gefeller will go back to receive the punt.
No. Oh, this Eric, because God's on the sideline.
That ball is going to bounce. Or actually, yeah, that's Daly. Back to receive it. Coming near side. Spins around, hit, dropped. He gets dropped at the 27, 28-yard line. Gefeller will come back out.
Yeah, they took out Dalton Walker and Kyle Gefeller there on that last 4th down long to make the punt. And they just had probably give him one play of rest out there because he'd been playing both ways, of course. So now here we go. We're going to have 1st and 10 on about their own 28-yard line. And you got to pass it.
Throw.
He's got all day now.
Dumps it over, intended for Kling, incomplete.
Just good pass protection and good good effort by Kling. And old Steinlager did a great job there breaking it up.
Wallace County is still yet to complete a pass in this ball game.
Are you serious?
0 for 8 by my count. That is unofficial, but
I can't remember reception either, so I think you're right on target.
As they're going to get one, it's going to come in a big situation.
It's not that they haven't been open.
No, they've been open. There's a quick pitch to Kling. Goes left side. A little bit of running room. Squirts forward for a pickup of about 5 on the play. Yeah, we'll call it a pickup of about 4.5. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6, we'll call it.
This may be the last play of this quarter if they don't. Depends on what kind of a pass or run they got here.
29 seconds left to go. There's a give to Shim, and Haug is right there to bring him down after a pickup of 1.
Very short.
It will bring up 4th down and 5, and the clock winds with 18 seconds. Kevin Ayers is probably going to take this down to the end of this 4th quarter, understanding the importance of this 4th down and 4 play. Clock winds down. The fans over here on the
near side,
I believe they are hoping for their team to get a defensive stop. We go to the 4th quarter. The B&B Falcons 28, Wallace County Wildcats 13. We're back with your 4th quarter after this timeout on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Presentation of the 8-man Division II State Football Championship brought to you in part by
Baileyville State Bank of Seneca, proud supporters of the Baileyville B&B Falcon Athletics, wishing the football team best of luck at state. Shelter Insurance of Seneca. Agent Doug Hyman has been serving the surrounding area since 1979, proud supporter of the B&B Falcons.
From Rural Telephone and Nextech, providing the region with telephone, internet, cable television, and wireless phone solutions, Rural Telephone and Nextech proudly support public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
American Lodge and Suites in Heston, offering a welcoming lobby with fireplace, 42 rooms including jacuzzi suites, indoor pool and spa, continental breakfast, and meeting room. American Lodge and Suites in Heston. Welcome to the end of the day.
Nemaha Central USD 115. The Board of Education and Community support the B&B Falcon football team at state.
The First National Bank of Centralia, Corning, Seneca, and Vermilion. Nemaha County Co-op serving 9 locations in northeast Kansas. Midwest Ag Service, LLC, Seneca.
Welcome back to Fisher Field. The 8-man Division II State Championship game. A lot on the line. A 4th down and 4 for the Wallace County Wildcats, and they trail 28-13. B&B with the 15-point lead, looking for the first ever back-to-back state titles in school history. It is the 13th state championship game they've played in, and it will be the final football game played in school history. The Falcon volleyball team, they pulled off a state title in Division II back in Gross Coliseum about 3 weeks ago. The football team's looking to pull it off as well. Big play, I formation for Wallace County. Will they put the ball in the hands of Gefeller? They're looking for it. Ball's loose. They look for a fake reverse. It's a fumble, and the Falcons have it. Well, a huge play defensively for B&B. They were not fooled by the reverse and the fake, and the ball's on the ground. It's 1st down and 10 from the Wallace County 33-yard line.
Just an option read what it's supposed to be, and fake to the first back, and then, hey, Kyle's supposed to pull the ball out and maybe give it to reverse action, and then, of course, the missed back. So here we go. Now Donninghouse is riding up underneath center.
They're going to give it left side. Look out to the edge. and brought down. A nice open field tackle on the far side by Daly. A pick up of 4 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 6 as Bergman got to the edge. Now B&B is going to try and take some air out of the clock.
Yeah, you haven't seen Dustin up underneath center very much today, have it? Except that play right there, that formation.
And apparently Bergman went out of bounds because the clock has stopped. They have it set. Now the clock runs. Have it set on the left hash. 2nd down and 6. Rottinghouse going to go for a throw. Throws it down the field. That pass is incomplete and nearly in a position to be intercepted. Cameron Haug, the intended receiver, and Kyle Gefeller did a good job. He was looking for the hit, was already going in for the hit, and pulled off, so he didn't get a personal foul.
Yeah, Blake Dieter was right there in action, too. I mean, the 2 receivers, I think there might have been a little mess up there because they had 2 receivers in the same 5 area. You had Haug, and you also had Blake Dieter. Somebody didn't run a pass right.
Somebody was in the wrong spot.
I think so.
3rd down. 3rd down and 6. Back to pass, Rottinghouse. Throws it, and that pass is incomplete. Looking for that little hitch pattern. The ball at the 25-yard line. It's incomplete. It's 4th down. So here we go again. Boy, kudos to this Wallace County defense facing a very powerful B&B team offensively, and they have held their own today.
I mean, you know, B&B's averaged 51.5 points for every game they played. That over 618 points for the season. 85 total touchdowns, 32 come from rushing, but 46 come in the air. So, you know, they pass the ball way over 50% of the time.
Wallace County needs a stop. B&B's going for it on 4th down and 6. Rottinghouse to throw under some pressure, throws it up the field, incomplete, intended for Haug, and Wallace County will take over on their own 29-yard line. Plenty of time left with 11:26 to go, and this is a point in the ball game where, with the 2-touchdown lead, you'd like to be able to suck some time off the clock, but B&B's mode of operation is not to run the football. So it's tough to change what you do throughout the year when it gets into situational football like today.
Well, they're used to the passes being complete and keep the clock running and keep the chains moving.
Gefeller to throw. Looking down the field, steps up, throws it, incomplete, intended for Kling. 0 for 9 throwing the football at 2nd and 10.
Need to have somebody catch that rock.
Pass is incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Kevin Ayers paces the sidelines. He wants to figure out what are we going to do to get some more points. He got a big kickoff return from Caden Daly to score. They went from 6 yards out in the first quarter to score. There's a run by Kling, and he's going to go nowhere, stacked up at the line of scrimmage, no gain on the play.
Yeah, so now you got 3rd and a good 10.
Boy, B&B has played strong defense today. Could just mention Wallace County's 2 scores on a kickoff return and then a 6-yard drive when they recovered that snap that went by Rottinghouse in the first quarter. 3rd and 11. There's an option to the right for Shim. He picks it up and goes down. Boy, that play went backwards in a hurry, all the way back to the 18-yard line, a loss of 10. It's 4th down.
But Kyle they had a blitz package coming. He had to get rid of the ball in a hurry. And so he did, and he pitched it back there, and he just barely missed it out of Luke's hands. So time he retrieved it and keep from having a turnover, they lost a good 10 yards.
Now they have to punt the football away. Get it back. Kick is away. It's a decent one. Takes a bounce. It will bounce in Wallace County's favor and be downed inside the 30 at the 29. So 1st and 10. B&B at their own 29-yard line with 9:59 to go in the ball game. They lead at 28-13.
I think punting at their football would be like punting a rock.
Yeah, it would.
With cold temperatures and air, huh? I don't know, but
it'd be a little difficult today.
I'm surprised it went that far.
1st and 10, 29-yard line. Boy, how Wallace County would love a turnover here.
Yeah, there's under 10 minutes to go for the Falcons.
B&B is going to try and take care of this football the best they can. They go with Sudbeck. Little crossbuck action. He's into Wallace County territory down at the 38-yard line. Pickup of 13 yards and a first down.
That's a good job by Neal, that 5'10", 170-pound sophomore. He come close to springing that one there all the way.
Oh, he lowered his shoulder.
You know, the first game of the year on September 6th, that's when they lost to Madison by 1 point, 28-29. Then they've run the table since then.
And that was a close one, a little debatable from what I understand.
Yeah.
They give it up the middle. Sudbeck again. He's stacked up at the line. Picked up, if he's lucky, a half a yard. Madison kicked an extra point that even the Madison folks were fairly certain that didn't go through the uprights, but it ended up winning the game in overtime. But that was a long time ago. Back all the way back on September 6th.
And then they got Quinter, 54-6, you know, and then Pretty Prairie, 50-0, and then 66-20 over Caldwell, 50-12 over Axtell.
2nd down and 10. Man in motion. That's Dieters. There's a pitch back. That is Schmitz. Steinlage, excuse me. He spins inside the 35. He's down to the 33-yard line. Picks up 5 on the play. It's 3rd down and 5.
Then to finish out just some of their roster, what they did was then on October 11th they had 54-6 over Frankfurt, and then they had Southern Coffee at 56-6, Hanover 34-22, Blue Valley 66-32. And here we go again, 3rd and 5.
3rd down and 5. Steinlage in motion. Back to pass. Rottinghouse under pressure. Throws it over the middle. Incomplete. It's a little bit too tall, and Tyrell Springsteel with the pressure on Rottinghouse, who is slow to get up. It's 4th down and 5. The clock stops.
And after that Halloween game, when we got Blue Valley 66-32, then Southern Cloud 50-0, Waverly 50-0. And then, of course, 60-14 over Hanover to get to this point against Wallace County. So this is the final run, and 36-2 up to this point. And I think they're just going to call timeout.
They are going to call a timeout with 8:05 to go in the ball game. Timeout on the field, and a 15-point advantage for the B&B Falcons. Another decision-making time for Justin Cope. You're kind of in that gray area where you could go for it, you could punt it.
I thought you were it, Larry.
What in the world are you going to do?
Well, I don't know. He's going to pass the ball. I mean, you know, they've been passing all day long. Why not keep on doing it?
Yeah. Well, if they go for it, they'll pass it. I imagine this timeout, they wouldn't have called it if they weren't going to go for it.
No, he would have dropped back and just punted it and didn't kill the ball within the 10, 15-yard line and punt the ball out of bounds. If they elected to do that, but that's not their swagger.
It's not their MO. They're going to go with their MO on 4th down and 5. Rottinghouse to throw it. Looks across the middle, has a man, 1st down and then some. Dieters on the move, makes a man miss. Down the sideline, close to the end zone, he's out at the 1. A pickup of 32 yards and a 1st down at the Wallace County 1-yard line.
And that getting close to putting the final dagger in the Wildcats.
What a play. 1st down and goal at the 1. You got to believe that Rottinghouse is just going to get up underneath center and keep this thing. He goes left side, he leans in, touchdown! B&B, the Falcons, score with 7:52 to go in the ball game. They go on top by a score of 34-13, a 21-point advantage for B&B.
And now we'll see what the extra point is, because they're 4 scores away, or at least 3, depends on your extra points.
It's a big one. You hit this extra point, this 2-point conversion, you make it a 4-possession ball game, and almost puts it out of reach. Here comes Rottinghouse, throws it in the flat, catch is made. 2-point conversion is good. Boy, that makes it awfully difficult. 7:52 to go in the ball game. B&B on top 36-13. They convert on 4th down and get it all the way down to the 1, and then 1 play later, Rottinghouse finishes it off with his 14th touchdown run of the ball game, and there's your 2-point conversion right there. A nice job by Steinlage getting across the goal line. Coverage wasn't bad, just the pass was right on the mark.
And old Ron Haig, he puts his, Ron Haig, you know, the old judge over there, line judge, he sticks that ball up. And he's the old linesman over there, Ron Haig. Of course, the referee today is Stu Chance, the referee, and the umpire is Alan Brown. Linesman is Ron Haig. Line judge is Troy Boytkin. And then the back judge is David Johnson. And that's your Zebras for the day. Good, established, experienced crew calling this ball game. But as you said, my goodness, four scores down now, 36-13. 23 points. You're going to have to score 4 times, and they only have less than 8 minutes to get it in.
And they've yet to complete a pass in the ball game.
That
is not
tall
a good
order,
recipe for Wallace County. It is a tall order. Short kick, going to be taken by Wallace County. This time it's Kling. He breaks to the outside. Good return for Nate Kling up to the 35-yard line. First down and 10 for the Wildcats. Now Wallace County, again, is going to have to score. Their margin for error has
evaporated.
Completely. It's gone. There's no more margin for error. They're going to have to catch a break or two and create some opportunities for themselves.
And all the tackles by the Falcons are going to have to be like a feather duster. You know, don't wrap them up, let them go for the Wallace County, and I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but still time on the clock. Anything's possible. Back to pass.
Gefeller
in some trouble. Gefeller up the field, and he's brought down. It's actually a 3-possession ball game. I don't know where my math was working at.
Well, fuzzy
if
math.
They get 2-point conversions.
Fuzzy math.
It's a 3. I'll tell you what, Roger Barta would be so unhappy with me right now if he's listening.
Well,
my high school algebra teacher, trigonometry calculus teacher, he'd just be saying, Jeremy, what's going on? A loss of 3 on that play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 13.
He'll forgive you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He was an old Plainville quarterback when he was a kid. You know that?
I did know that. 2nd down, 13. Back to pass. The throw in the flat. The catch is made by Daly. It's the first completion. He is battling. Gets up just short of midfield.
At about 7 minutes left to go in the game, and they made the first pass completion by the Wallace County Wildcats.
It was a pickup of 7. Brings up 3rd and 5.
They need another pass completion in a row, back to back.
They need a 41-yarder right here.
Is that right?
It would be helpful.
40 and a half would do it.
40 and a half would do it.
Yeah, well, it would. His head's almost in the neutral zone.
They're going to throw. It's going to be a keeper by Gefeller. He leans forward. He's going to be short of the first down.
It's going to be 4th down and less than 1, isn't it?
He picked up 4 on the play.
Could have used 5. Well, now we're going to bring in old 52 for the Baileyville. Old Ethan Smith's a defensive lineman, the junior, 190-pounder. He's coming in here to play a little nose guard there, see?
Boy, and he really gets low. If you watch how he lines up, he is getting low to try and eliminate Dalton Walker at the point of attack. That's going to be a false start over on the right side, and Caden Daly smacks himself because that's a big one.
Yeah, because now instead of
make it 4th down and 6.
Yeah. Just what you didn't need is what you got.
Even at this level, at this high of performance, state championship game, you still see mistakes like that, which It's frustrating for a coach, frustrating for the player. But now you got to put it behind you and realize that we got to pick up 6 yards. 4th down and 6. The ball at the 39-yard line. Wallace County, they moved it back into their own territory. Young men from Sharon wanting to make something happen. There's a throw over the middle. It's caught by Daly. He has a 1st down, makes up for that penalty down to the 30-yard line. He picks up 11 yards and a 1st down.
Great job, great pass. Hey, that's 2 completions now Feller's had. And Daly, huh?
And they are going to have to hurry with their plays. They're not going to have time to spend much time in the huddle.
They just need to hustle them up. Hustle, hustle, hustle. If you hurry, you're going to make mistakes, so they need to hustle, I think. That's a John Wooden comment, sorry.
1st down and 10.
The Wizard of Westwood.
Now Gefeller dumps it up over the middle. It's knocked away. Well, he was going to run with it. Then he saw a little bit of daylight between Daly and Sudbeck, and the pass was incomplete.
He almost tucked it in and ran with it. But he knows, hey, time's moving on. We need to pass it, get some scores.
They need 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions.
That'd do it.
That would do it. We're 3 touchdowns with 2 2-point conversions.
Twins to the left, split receivers, and here we go. Now Gefeller's just got him spread out. And
he's going right side. He breaks free for a moment. The ankle looks good inside the 10, pushed out around the 5. They'll mark him out just inside the 5-yard line. A pickup of 25 yards. His longest run of the day by far. And a 1st down and goal for Wallace County. Saw Gefeller get to the edge. Boy, I tell you what, if he's running like that with a bad ankle.
He's got some wheels.
Yeah, he does.
He keeps them well greased during the main year, but right now he's limping a little bit.
Now they have to have this right here. 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Gefeller's going to keep it again. He's hitting the backfield and no gain on the play. Knifing in was Sism to make the initial contact for B&B. It's 2nd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, Blake Chisholm, 6'1", 165-pound senior, had 46 tackles on the year, and he just added another one to his portfolio. Now you've got 18, Clay Shim, correct as this play in. He's a 180-pound guard, Clay Shim.
Second and goal. There's the pitch.
Pitch it, and he cuts
back.
Cutting
it up, Kling. He's inside the 5 down to the 3. Picks up 2 yards. Boy, this B&B defense really tightens up in the red zone.
Yes, it did. So now you got 3rd and 5. No, 3rd and 3 yards to go for the touchdown, isn't it? Mercy.
Clock winds with 4:20 to go in the ball game. Wallace County doesn't have much time. They do have all 3 timeouts remaining.
And we got the same formation.
And they're going to go left side. Gefeller keeps it. He's undercut and brought down, loses 2 yards. Derek muting from his nose guard position.
Middle linebacker position.
Middle linebacker, nose guard's all the same thing, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
He knifed in there anyway, made a heck of a play.
Blitzed in there is what he did, because he generally has old Trevor Hyman up there as the nose guard, 6', 165-pound senior, normally.
Yeah, this is your ball game right here. The B&B fans on the near side are lining up against the rail. They're wanting their team to make a play. 4th down and goal from the 5-yard line. Back to pass, looking backside. It's thrown over the middle, incomplete. The pressure brought in by Sism. An incomplete pass. It's a turnover on downs, and B&B will take over at their own 5-yard line with 3:27 to go in the game.
And they brought the old blitz package that time. They're not going to give him much time to think about it.
Yeah, they brought the house. They brought the house.
Good ball game, good effort. Had a couple of good pass receptions. Had a good series of plays in there. Just couldn't punch it down. They got inside the old red zone.
Now B&B will go with an I formation. They realize what running the football is going to do here. They go outside. Bergman is going to be pushed out of bounds, but they'll keep the clock running because his forward progress was stopped before he hit the sideline. So a loss of a yard on the play. It's 2nd and 11.
And now Steinlage comes in, and number 7, Brandon Bergman, goes out. So look for Steinlage, the 160-pound sophomore, to carry the ball a little bit more now and give the seniors a break.
And he's going to watch the play clock wind down. 2nd 11. He's going to keep it, rides out, spring steals there, brings him down up across the 5 to the 7-yard line, a 3-yard gain. It's 3rd down and 8.
Stu Chance marks time. And the clock is running again.
Coming up on 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Wallace County likely to use their timeouts after this play by B&B. Steinlage out. Bergman brings the play in, 3rd and 8. And the timeout's going to be called by Rottinghouse with 2:02 to go. Saw that his team was running out of time, calls the timeout. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 8 after the timeout. Timeout on the field, 2:02 to go. We're back right after this timeout on Smoky Hills Public Television.
Presentation of the 8-man Division II State Football Championship is brought to you in part by
Shelter Insurance of Seneca. Agent Doug Hyman has been serving the surrounding area since 1979. Proud supporter of the B&B Falcons.
American Lodge and Suites in Heston, offering a welcoming lobby with fireplace, 42 rooms including jacuzzi suites, indoor pool and spa, continental breakfast, and meeting room. American Lodge and Suites in Heston. Welcome to the end of the day.
Baileyville State Bank of Seneca, proud supporters of the Baileyville B&B Falcon Athletics, wishing the football team best of luck at state. Nemaha Central USD 115. The Board of Education and Community support the B&B Falcon football team at state.
From Rural Telephone and Nextech, providing the region with telephone, internet, cable television, and wireless phone solutions, Rural Telephone and Nextech proudly support public broadcasting and all ventures dedicated to improving Kansas communities.
The First National Bank of Centralia, Corning, Seneca, and Vermilion. Nemaha County Co-op serving 9 locations in northeast Kansas. Midwest Ag Service, LLC, Seneca.
2:02 to go, 3rd down and 8 for B&B. They have a 36-13 lead, looking to wrap up their 5th state title in school history, looking to win back-to-back for the first time, and looking to end the program of Falcon football with a win. B&B, it'll be Nemaha Central come next year. 3rd down and 8. Rottinghouse, he's going to throw it. Looking down the middle, Haug is open, he has it. He's going to turn on the speed at midfield. The 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! There is your exclamation point from 73 yards out. And B&B goes on top 42-13. What a memory for these young men on that play with 1:51 to go in the ball game.
What a nice pass by Dustin Rottinghouse, too. I mean, it was incredible, right on the hill. And shoot, Cameron was probably 10 yards behind any defensive person. They had, of course, blitzed out, and what a great pass. What a great pattern that he ran. And then after he caught the ball, he kind of kicked those Jetson afterburners or kicked in the old overdrive, didn't he?
And now
they're
going to bring in everybody. And boy, these young men are going to get one heck of a standing ovation, as well they should. We're witnessing history. That ball is bobbled and brought down in the backfield. Ryan Hazenkamp, the freshman, and the 2-point conversion is no good. But Cameron Haug on the receiving end right here. Rottinghouse threw it right where he needed to, and Daly was not going to be able to catch him. Cameron Haug rumbles from 73 yards out. It is 42-13.
He cut the ball 5 yards behind Daly and kept that same distance all the way. So both of them is pretty quick, pretty speedy, but when you're giving that extra 5 yards and a nice tight spiral the way Dustin threw that ball, it's Katie bar the door is lights out when they kicked in the afterburners.
Classy by Justin Cope getting everybody in for some playing time, if not for just one play.
Might have Hal kick the ball or do the kickoff like he normally does. Nah,
looks like they're going to have Trevor Hyman kick off. 165-pound senior.
Yeah.
Wallace County is going to end their season at 12-1. B&B is going to end their season at 12-1 on a 12-game winning streak. Looking for back-to-back state champs.
Trent Schulte's in there.
That's a sidewinder that's going to go out of bounds. So Hyman kicks it off. It's going to go out of bounds.
And now we got a choice.
Want him to kick it again or take it where it went out of bounds?
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be right at the 35-yard line, and Wallace County looks like they'll take it right there. So
just as well.
Ethan Schmitz is going to come back in the ball game. Right now, B&B has 6, 7. They need one more.
And Dirk Dieters just came in there. He's a fresh 120-pounder. Another Dieters cornerback. Here comes 57. He's a little late getting in there. That's old Wesley Leasling.
And there's a run and not much going. Wallace County's going to do the same thing. They're going to bring everybody in. In to make the play that time for B&B was Paul Dieters, a 5'10", 160-pound sophomore. Eric Gefeller, the sophomore quarterback on the carry. No gain on the play. It's 2nd down and 10.
Younger brother, of course, Kyle. Boy, they're trying to get him in and out, aren't they?
Right now they have 7 guys on the field. B&B's playing with 7. Doesn't matter. It's a pickup of about 2 on the play.
Now 2 go in, and how many comes off? Well,
now
3
the
going
third
in.
one goes in. So you need at least 2 coming off.
Well,
there we go.
Oops, got to stay. Oops, okay, I'll stay out here, Coach.
It's kind of like Rudy when at the end where they told him just to stay on.
Yeah.
Just stay on. We have 8.
Okay.
That's all we need. 3rd down and 8. Under a minute to go. B&B fans on their feet. And Gefeller to throw. Looking down the middle of the field. Throws a nice ball. It is caught inside the 10 and brought down at the 7-yard line. He connects with senior Reed Warner.
Hey, big brother, watch me throw the pass. Oh, what Eric says, huh?
That was a nice play.
Yeah. Kyle, the way I understand it, Eric, he was the quarterback of the JV team and had an undefeated season for Wallace County Wildcats this year.
35-yard pickup, looking for a score with 30 seconds. There's an option to the right side. To the edge, close, but knocked out just short of the goal line.
And what a timeout. Let's get that clock stopped there, boys.
Yeah, they went out of bounds. 22 seconds left.
Okay, now 51 goes in for 57, which would be Eric Haberkamp goes in there for Wesley Lessing.
It is musical chairs.
Yes, it is. Hard to keep up.
2nd down and goal from the 1. Gefeller pushes forward. He's in for the touchdown, I believe. He is. Touchdown, Wallace County. 42-19. I'll tell you what, those young men didn't waste any time. Eric Gefeller, the sophomore, had a 35-yard pass completion and then runs it in from a yard out, makes the score 42-19.
And kudos to both coaches for letting their backup people get in this ball game. They work hard and practice during the year, all of them. Heck, they run the scouting defense and all that kind of stuff to make it go. So here we go with extra point attempt. He's going to pass it.
There's a pass over the middle, wide open, but incomplete. Intended for Cade Allen, the 100-pound sophomore.
So 42-19 with just 19.1 seconds to go in the game.
And there was the touchdown run, and you know, these kids will remember the opportunity to play in a state championship game for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
You can't take it for granted. You never know if and when you'll ever make it back to this level.
That's true. Now, Wallace County, with all their undefeated JV team, think, hey, we'll get back next year, but there's never any guarantee. And what a deal here, back-to-back. They've never done it before to the Falcons at B&B. In the last year of existence of the school, and they're going to have back-to-back state championships. How sweet is that?
That's pretty sweet, especially if you're a Falcon.
Yes.
You have to wonder. Oh, they do have the Gatorade bucket. They have the Gatorade bucket on the sideline.
Yeah, getting ready.
You want to talk about a cold bath?
Oh.
They should probably just hang right there.
There's going to be some Gatorade icicles.
And it is going to be a kick return coming near side. A little bit of running room. The freshman still out across the 25, brought down near the 30.
Well, Ryan Hazerkamp, freshman quarterback. Now they go. Now
here we go. Well, no, they better cover that up. He's going to see him. He's going to see him. You got to keep an eye on Justin Cope. He's over on the sideline. Here they go.
There it is.
And they got him. Oh,
and then
you want to talk about Burr.
Look at him.
He just got drilled. And they put a knee to it, and this ball game is going to be over. The B&B Falcons are state champs, a 42-19 win. And the first time in school history they've gone back-to-back. And Justin Cope better get a shower afterwards and dry himself off because it's cold out there right now, minus the cold water bath he just got. So I'll tell you what, B&B really in control of this thing for really the last 3 quarters, Larry Jantz. They trailed by 1 going into the second quarter, but they took control, scored a late touchdown in the first half, and never looked back.
Well, you got to control the line of scrimmage, and they really did that predominantly. And that's it. And if you make less mistakes, less turnovers, less penalties, control the line of scrimmage, well, you're generally going to win the ball game. And they did all that stuff. And what a passer that Dustin is. I mean, my goodness gracious. He passed the ball probably about 80% of the time today, too, and has all year. Throws a good pass, good sharp pass. So it's 42-19 final score.
He threw for 395 yards, was 22 out of 45 for 395 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Wow.
We knew that the passing game was going to be key today for the B&B Falcons. And boy, was it ever.
And Kevin Ayers knew that also. His kids had to play sound defense, had to play right up there, all the receivers on there, and it just didn't quite happen. I mean, they got loose. But for the most part, they did a pretty good job. They broke up a lot of passes today that probably, for most people, would have been completions for Dustin, huh?
Yep.
But today, they got to give them credit, whether it was Daly or Gefeller or whoever it was back there as far as that defense, Shem sometimes, or Kling, breaking up some of the passes, because you had Grunt as one cornerback, Kyle's the other cornerback, and in their old 3-4 defense, they broke up a lot of passes. But I tell you still that Dustin zinged that ball to his receivers. Nice tight spiral. I like the way his passes. He's just a hell of a good quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look at the future for Wallace County as you see their team receiving their runner-up trophy. You saw some young men come in and play late. Eric Gefeller, the sophomore.
Yeah.
That young man has a future too. He looked nice in the little bit of time he had to play today.
He's one of those 6 brothers they talked about on the team. Remember the brotherhood? 6 brothers, big brother, little brother. Some of them senior sophomores or junior freshmen or whatever. 6 brothers on their team this year.
And they are going to have a successful season next year, you have to believe. Now the B&B Falcons, they're going to receive their state championship trophy. And, this is a moment that they were hoping to see. The volleyball team received their state championship trophy 3 weeks ago. The football team steps up and they received their state championship trophy today. The B&B Falcons, their 5th state title in school history. They go back-to-back. Their final football game, a victorious one, 42-19. The fans still standing and watching, wanting to see. Wallace County fans, they're ready to come onto the field to congratulate their team on such a successful season. It's gonna have a bitter taste in their mouth for a while. they're going to realize the significance of the team they played. Maybe not so much right now, maybe not even a year from now. They look back at this in 20 years and think, oh my goodness, we lost to one of the best 8-man programs to ever play
in the state of Kansas. At least the last 15, 20 years, for sure.
Absolutely. You know, you had Denton Midway that had such a good run in the early mid, late 80s, and then B&B making their run.
Yeah, and then you had, and then also in Division 1 or Division 2, you had Jetmore, or you had Hanston, the Elks, or the Longhorns. They did their stuff in 8-man football. Northern Valley years ago was pretty powerful. Remember when the state games used to be played out at Russell also?
Oh yeah.
And
they had some ball clubs. I think this Wallace County program has a chance to be one of those type of teams.
Absolutely. Well, with Kevin Ayers there doing the leadership on that, he's very dedicated, very thorough, and they're going to work on fundamentals. And so, I mean, they've just done a great job. Kudos to both teams. There's all winners. How many other teams would like to have been here and have been in the same position as these guys?
A lot of them. And looks like the B&B team praying right now. Justin Cope gets it in there. And I tell you what, it's going to be a...
they got a lot to be grateful for.
They have a lot to be grateful for. They have one final breakdown on a football field as they break down as state champs. They will go out as state champs and will forever be remembered as state champs. A 42-19 win over Wallace County. They finished their season at 12-1. Wallace County, the runner-up, they finished their season at 12-1. A special thanks to everybody who made the broadcast possible today, to all the camera folks that were out there freezing. It was cold out there getting the shots today. Everybody on the sidelines, everybody in the truck making these broadcasts possible. Everybody behind the scenes, without them, we couldn't be here doing what we do today, especially to the sponsors as well. A great crew here at Smoky Hills Public Television. B&B wins it. Special thanks also to longtime color analyst Larry Jantz from Newton, Kansas, Fisher Field for one last time. This is Jeremy McGuire saying so long from State Championship Saturday on Smoky Hills Public Television.